Bull is going right back to betting on green.
Longs.
I would hope so. First time they bet short yesterday. And lost.
Doing it live.
What is up?
Oh.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade During the Midday. That's your boy right there, Joey Dang Options. And I'm Sharif. And we already have people on over from the other streamer, so we're going to shout them out. Shout out to the OG, Darwin, Matthew, Booth. I can speak, I promise. Brighton always makes money. Always makes him money. I guess you gamble there, Mike Matthew Booth on the Prem. Shout out to Nimit. Shout out to Adam. Shout out to Joe. We got Dinkelberg and my man Nimit from Singapore, Kenneth C. and Stevenson, ATN, Racer X9. We got Carlos Cabrera and Lewis. We got Pitchbull. We got a different Lewis. Anti. He even has Anti in his last name there. Shout out to Los Palomos, Hermanos, Mark Susi, Dinkelberg, John D. Pietro, My Prayer Life. Yes, right back at you, my man. We got Daryl Finch. We got Drucifer. Ronaldo, Vitale. Like Patrick? Is that you? Oh, my bad. Why not? Vern, Charmine Khan. Shout out to Charmine. We got Emil. We got Why Not? We got Costa. We got Sean and Neil. That's my favorite name. After, of course, Big Asian. Big Asian obviously takes the cake there. We got Divine Devin, Michael Spratfora, Richard Budai, Bill Pruitt. We got Gummy. Who else we got over here? Abhishek Desai. I fought a guy in high school named Abhishek Desai. He lost.
You fought? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Aura Alpha. Who else? Scott J. Salmon Diaz. Come on, keep putting it. There we go. We got Cookie and Zeke Malcat. Holly. What's up, Holly? We got Lo-Fi Soul. Ashley. We got George. We got David. We got Blue Arrow. Donkey Trader and Tobbs. Shout out to everybody today. I hope everybody's having a fantastic Friday. As the big boys were mentioning there on the big show, it is MSI rebalancing day. That's a big day today. Means things are going to be bought to be put into the Morgan Stanley Index, and things are going to be sold, and that causes all sorts of chaos with the markets, and people use that as a trading opportunity. Joseph can get more into that since he is the expert there. I don't usually.
Yeah, these boys. That's I think Wayner and Branks and Obi back there. Those guys are the real ones that are pushing. Going to be pushing some sides this afternoon. So there is a big MSCI rebalance here coming at the close, and that's just a time where you're just rebalancing the books, right? So these guys are looking to take advantage of large imbalances on the imbalance locator. And with that, they look at like notional size and whether it's buy or sell as well too, guys. So that's going to be really, really important. I'm going to get out of this IBIT trade here because I think we're going to go slightly lower. Full disclosure here. I was talking with Sharif not too long ago. I know we got a lesson here, but we're going to just talk about the overall market sentiment and things that happen. All right, I'm personally not trading the best right now, and that's just the reality of this game. It's actually some of the worst trading I've done in the past couple of years. So you know what I'm going to do? We have a party tonight, so it's a couple beers for me, and then we're up bright and early to hit the gym and just get back into that routine.
God, I love that.
Yeah, exactly. So you know what I mean? I came back from Jamaica, and then everything just wasn't right? You're going hard for a couple of days, so it takes a while to get back, and just me being me, that's what I like to do, and I just like to get back into things. So this Saturday morning, we're going to hit the gym. Sunday morning, we're going to hit the gym. It's most likely going to be 2 days for the next couple days here, and then we're just going to get really back into that routine, get hyper-focused, and I'm looking forward to that. But we're going to get into Shreet's lesson in 1 second. Top 3 performing sectors here on the day. Consumer discretionary up about 1%. Financials up about 0.99 there, guys. And then communication service up about 0.7. We're going to go from the bottom up. Healthcare sector is the only red one that here today, down about 0.1%. Then the tech sector is actually positive here, sitting in second last, up about 0.4. And then materials as well, too, guys, up about 0.4%, sitting in third last. So yeah, that's it. That's the game plan. Hyper focus, getting back onto it, because I know when I come back here on Monday, it's a new month. Looking forward to that, and I know I'm just going to hit it out the park. So.
I love hearing that, man. Absolutely love that energy, love that vibe, love that mentality. Joseph, shout out to you, my man. Let's get into the lesson of the day. What's going on, Neil? Okay. All right. here's the deal. We're talking about the measured move today. So welcome, traders. Today's lesson demystifies the concept of a measured move, a valuable tool for navigating the fast-paced world of short-term trading, excuse me. So let's get right down to it. What is the measured move? You've probably heard me refer to it a few times in the past when I talk about these chart patterns. Today, we're going to kind of really introduce the topic and have, kind of give you a bit basic understanding of it. So imagine a stock makes a significant price move. A measured move essentially helps estimate the potential future price targets or the support and resistance levels based on that initial move. So a stock makes an initial move, it's a bigger move, and based upon that move, you can make projections of future moves or the levels that you anticipate a future move to make. So it's like gauging how far the domino effect, so to speak, might ripple after that first push. And this is what we're talking about here, okay? So the measured move, I mean, this is kind of a convoluted, kind of a convoluted example. I'd like to show you a little bit of a different one over here. So let's look, for example, at Carvana. Okay, this is the weekly that on Carvana. Okay, so this is kind of what we call the rounded bottom. And we've talked about this specific stock before. It's kind of hard to gauge, right? What the neckline is. The neckline is kind of the top area of the bowl, the U. And it's the neckline that we look for a breakout from. And I'll submit to you that based upon the previous price action back in 2021 and then early 2022, and based upon the recent price action in late 24, early 25, I'll submit to you that the neckline here on Carvana is around $300. Okay? So if you are to take the measured move at its most basic principle, what you're doing is you're measuring from the neckline to the bottom of the bowl. And you're saying, all right, what's the price range from that $300 to all the way down to the neckline? Well, that neckline goes, believe it or not, or the bottom of the bowl, excuse me, goes to about $5. So essentially, you have a $295 price range from the bottom, okay, to the top of that neckline. I can show you more on gold, I can show you more on Bitcoin, but we're going to do this one for now. So if I was to take the measured move at its most literal, I would be projecting upwards from $300. I'd be projecting upwards a price of $295. So I would add to 300, 295. That obviously brings us to 595. Okay? So essentially what we're looking for here is to gauge the move from the bottom to that neckline break and then project it upwards. That's what we call the measured move. Now, it doesn't have to happen right away. And clearly, this is a weekly chart. Look how long it took for all this to form. So just because it sounds like a ridiculous price on Carvana, $600, $595, I bet you would have said the same thing if I said to you that we would be hitting $320 back in April of 23 when this thing was trading at $8. You would have said I was psycho. Talking about this area, this stock going to $310. So it may sound ridiculous for me to tell you that this could be a $600 stock, a $550 stock, but that's what the measured move is, okay? Now, I'm showing you the rounded bottom. It also works with bull flags. It works with all these patterns, inverse head and shoulders, what have you. Essentially, what you are doing in the measured move, I'm just going to simplify the lesson super quick, okay? You are taking the length of the pattern from the top area to a specific area in the neckline for the head and shoulders, the neckline for the rounded bottom or rounded top, and then you're projecting it upwards or downwards depending on what the move is doing. Okay, that's its most basic. You can do it from bull flags, bull pennants. It kind of works all in that way. All right, let's keep going on here. I don't want to skip this. So the basic idea, as I mentioned, the measured move assumes the price movement tends to follow a certain percentage retracement of the previous move. Here's a simplified approach. Step number one, you identify a significant price move up or down on an intraday chart or a daily chart, whatever time frame you're charting. Then you want to calculate the size of the move by subtracting the starting price from that ending price. Now, that ending price is subjective. Like I just showed you. I showed you a chart over here where I perceive the neckline to be $300. on Carvana. But there's nothing that's telling me, hey, I'm the neckline. I have to make my own opinion. And that by its very nature is subjective. Katina Man sees it at 275. I see it at 300. Joseph sees it a little bit higher at 310, whatever. It's a subjective component. As Sean mentioned yesterday, trading is an art, not a science. You have to make these educated guesses, and that's what they are. Let's call a spade a spade. They are guesses. Okay, an example, let's go on. So let's say a stock price jumps from $20 to $25, a $5 increase. You can apply a common retracement percentage of, say, 50%. Multiply the price move by that percentage. So continuing the example, 50% of 5 is 250. So you add for uptrends or subtract for downtrends the retracement value from the ending price to estimate the potential targets. Let's keep going on. So in an upward trend, for example, a potential target of $25, that's the ending price. Let's just use it as that. You have a 250 retracement, so you have a 2750. All right, and the downward trend, the same thing. You have potential target of 25 bucks, that's your ending price, with a 250 retracement. What does that come to? 2250. Okay, this is the calculation version of the measured move. That's not the one that I specifically like to use. You use fibs for this, Fibonacci retracements. I like to use the actual move itself by charting and seeing what the price is, the actual price action itself, and then making my educated guesses based on that. Some important considerations here. The measured moves are estimates, not guarantees. The market doesn't always follow a perfect and consistent retracement level. And consider using, obviously, other retracement percentages like the 38.2, 61.8, based on market conditions and your trading strategy. Combine the measured moves with other technical indicators like support and resistance levels or trends for even stronger signals there. So leveraging some of these measured moves, we're going to stop there for a minute, but I wanted to show you, for example, let's just take the bull flag. Let me find one that has a bull flag on the day, ORGO. Let's go intraday and see if I can find something. This is a bull flag, okay? You may disagree with me that this ends up continuing, but if you were to use the measured move analysis on a bull flag, what you're doing is you're looking for that breakout area. I'll submit to you the breakout area to me seems like 370, 375, okay? And then where does it top out? You know, to me, I get the high of the day is 575, but the top end of the range based upon these wicks is 550. So let's just say, for the sake of ease, the ease calculation, let's say the breakout level is 350, the top end is 550. So what does that give us? It gives us $2. So off that 550 break, if ORGO is to break that 550 consolidation area top, then the second bull flag would be another $2 move. That would be about 750. Okay? Give or take. Again, it is kind of an art, not a science. And I personally would be wetting my beak along the way into that 750 level. I wouldn't necessarily hold the entire position into 750, insisting that I get 100% of the move at the level that I earmarked subjectively to be the potential price target. So that's the point there. Now, each pattern has its own kind of projected move, right? The head and shoulders, you measure from the top of the head to the neckline, then you project downward. The inverse head and shoulder, the opposite, you're measuring from the trough area, which is the upside down head, to the neckline, then you're projecting that upwards. So all these different patterns have their own measured move analysis, and then you can also do the measured move using fibs. That's not my cup of tea, but that's what this lesson was talking about. I'd like to base it on chart patterns rather than fibs. I hope everybody.
Yeah, good stuff there, guys. Let's see what's going on here with this NVDA here. Got a nice little bounce. We went as low as 118, so I got stopped out of my swing right at the open, actually. Guys, could I put that stop down to 118 and then it got filled? But we're getting a little bit of a bounce in this name. Let's see what we got cooking up from a daily perspective, because I think there might potentially be some more downside here. The tough thing is like, okay, we're running into some key support levels, and look at us bounce right off of this here. 116.24 was the low, and you can see we have multiple touches at this level. So if we break that, then the floor can open up a little bit, I think, here, and we can head a little bit lower, but you can see that we're holding it here, so that's one touch, multiple touches throughout this consolidation phase, multiple touches here, and then now we have an additional one. So that's a really strong engulfing candle here on NVDA. A bounce would be nice, and it's also unfortunate that we got stopped out of that one, but I mean, again, we can always find something with a better price and potentially a better bounce. And what I started looking at here was the Bitcoin chart. And I like this signal here. This is something positive. It's not as isolated as we would like, but I like this doji because we put in about 4 or 5 consecutive red selling days. So I'm thinking, hey, maybe we can bounce a little bit off of that key level, and that's why I like it for a potential somewhat of a rebound here. I'm not saying we're going to go all the way to a new all-time high, but a nice retest of the 90s might be in the picture here because that capitulation isn't all of the best. So yeah, we're going to hold on to that. We're going to punch into some right now as well too, guys, and see what we can take it and see how far we can take this one. Again, thesis is somewhat of a bounce. We are now a little bit. We try to attempt to number one. I'm like, you know what? Even though I'm close to the bottom of this range, I think that we could possibly wick here and then climb higher. So if we punch through this 47.50 level, then I'm just going to get out and find something else. And maybe we just have to flip our bias. But I do like the overall market, guys, for a bounce here. There's a nice indecision candle on the TQs right above the volume weighted average price, which I think might be a key signal that we can continue in this trend, especially if we break through the high a day or go even relatively test it. So I'm going to put in an additional position as well on the TQs. Look for this VWAP bounce because I do like that level. A nice bounce off it. Again, we'll go over the risk to reward ratio on these things because I think it's really important. And if you're using VWAP as your stop, now we know that our risk reward is a little bit wider than what we would like. We would like it obviously down here because then you're risking pennies at a time, and then now you could be at like a 2 or 3 to 1 already in that factor. But now since we're chasing it, looking for that higher day break, then the RVR is slightly skewed, and that's okay. We'll just hold on to a little bit longer. You just size down in that, and then if the trade decides it wants to start working, that's when you get to scale into full size. So yeah, that's what we're looking to do there, guys. I know we were talking some options as well this morning too. So the guys had a question about a 350 strike on Tesla expiring today, and someone in the chat said, hey, you would lose money to comms on that trade, and you're right. That you can't put that trade on. Well, you could clearly, but it's just not worth it because opening up an options contract, depending on your brokerage, it's going to cost you $3 to $5, and then you got to close it as well too. But in the meantime, you're only collecting $1, so it doesn't make sense. Okay, and I don't. Well, I mean, that's just on one contract. But what are you going to do? Sell 100 contracts of Tesla? Collect $100 on that? I don't think it's going to go to 350 today. Might not be a horrible idea, but the margin impact on that is going to be awfully hefty, and I don't think you want any part of that. So that's the only play there. It's not even $1. Yeah, it is $1 right now. So yeah, $1. But it's not. Yeah, it's not even worth it. Still, Jesus.
I love how we pulled back on that one a little bit.
Yeah. I just said still, like I'm talking in the streets of Toronto there, which is absolutely wild.
Toronto lingo.
Yeah,
bro.
pure Toronto slang. Yeah. But yeah, guys, that's the method here. A little method to the madness, so we're going to hold on to these. Let's see what IBIT's up to if we're continuing to bounce, and we're just hovering around these areas. So I'm going to hold off on this. We are making lower highs, something to be alarmed about, but we have that out here as well, so that risk to reward, if we punch through the high, isn't as horrible as it looks. So going to just be really, really patient. You have to pack it today, especially in this markets. I should have been slightly more patient on my NVDA trades in the morning, but that's not the case. So like I said, this weekend's just going to be, let's get back in focus. We're going to do what we have to do, get back into the gym hefty, even though we've been a couple times this time, but just get back on the diet and everything and just be like, we're ready to rock on Monday.
That's exactly the attitude, bro. Yeah. I love hearing that, man. Yeah. All right, we're involved in a couple of names, Riley and BTAI. BTAI was a no-go until it took out the pre-market high. 275 was the pre-market high as a topping till into 282. So this one is still not out of trouble. I'm long 66s. It's showing me 66s. I don't have any beak wetters though until 75. Let's throw that bad boy out there. This one, I have my planned DCAs. So you can see a whole bunch of baby blue arrows there. There we go. Here we're moving on up. We're moving on up. There we go. Now we take out some levels, boy. Let's take out some more. Now I'm waiting at 82s over here. Cost basis of 64. Let's load up the side chart over here so we can see exactly what the shareage situation. All right, now we're showing 76s. Go BTAI, you punk. We're going to take off a little bit more over here. All right, that's not bad. Okay, we're still holding some shares. Here we go. We'll take off there. Sorry, the other one didn't execute. So I still have my plan DCA to take the flat top breakup that I perceive to be at 250. I still have a plan DCA there. I've got a little bit of shares over here left. We'll see if we can weasel on up to 82s and then hold the entire thing. I'm also involved in Riley. This one is a bit of a spready one, and it's annoying me because it's crossing 95s despite the fact that I didn't get the fill. So this one is a bit of a bamboozler, and it has a bit of a spread on it, which is causing trouble. With this one as well, I have planned DCAs to pick up on the higher highs and higher low pattern. I've got a DCA waiting at 72s and then 63s. So I'm defending this one into VWAP. I want to keep adding into this one into VWAP until it loses a volume weighted average price. I'm going to be fighting and looking to get more shares in and then take them out on the pop. So that's the situation. Back to BTAI. Here we go. It's showing me 78s now. I'm still waiting at 82s. It's not forthcoming, but this one does have the opportunity to take out that 82 level, especially because it already took the pre-market high. And why do I always keep talking about the pre-market high? What's this obsession I have with the pre-market high? My obsession is the bag holders who trade this en masse in the pre-market are holding the bag, and then the losers like me who come and pick up the scraps in the midday are basically bamboozled because it keeps you down. They're offloading the shares that they have at a higher level from the pre-market. And so until you take out that pre-market high, and if it was traded thickly in the pre-market, you were never really sure if there's going to be a big boy seller who comes in and, keeps the price depressed. Despite the fact that it's got a fantastic looking pattern, it's making higher highs and higher lows, the volume's jiving, yada, yada, yada. You guys know the drill. The point is, those are the two rules that I always have. VWAP above, pre-market high, taken. And I just won't trade these. Well, I say I won't, then sometimes I end up doing because I DCA below VWAP, but I won't get in below pre-market high. Anyway, back to the current trades. Still waiting on something here on Riley. Still waiting for this bad boy here, BTAI, to decide whether it wants to give me that fill at 50 pennies or whether it wants to take out my beak wetter Joseph at 82. What do you got?
I wanted to kind of acknowledge what you had going on in that trade there, Sharif, is those ads on there.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I've been taking a page out of your book, bro.
Boom. It's like add. So yeah, good work there, my friend. But yeah, guys, we're still cooking in the same two trades right here. It might be a slow cook, right? We put this in the slow burner, just let it get nice and soft, and then hopefully we can rip to the top side. And that's the game plan here with IBIT. So if we can climb higher, but again, if we breach this support level here, then we're just going to get out of the trade and get back to it. But then here I go back to referring to the TQQ trade, is that, okay, now look at my RVR. I have to hold this to below VWAP to identify that I'm wrong. So essentially I just bought the top here, and then now it's just trading. So I believe that sellers are fully engaged still in this market. That I don't think that there's really a debate on that. So we'll be patient. If we breach VWAP to the downside, then I'll just get out, because then that means we just constructed a lower high and then an additional lower high. And what I'm looking at it right now, it looks like we put in a potential double top as well too. So that is not pretty and not good looking for this trade. So it's time to just maybe start flipping the bias a little bit. Actually, you know what? What I was thinking to myself, I don't even know if it's time for that because of how much we've came down in some of these big names. I don't think that the majority of the Mag 7 are down double digits from those all-time highs. So that's something to just keep an eye out on. Eventually, maybe they will bounce, and I'm sure they will. But again, I don't think we see all-time highs anytime soon. Like you're thinking about probably 6 to 8 months or something along those lines, in my opinion. Anyways, the market isn't liking the tariffs. We know that there's a lot more turbulence in it now with Donald Trump in office. So yeah, again, I don't think this market sees all-time highs anytime soon. And I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy. I'm just trying to see, just call it as it is, right? Because we have to play the price action. Because you got the likes of Google that is just continuing to climb lower and lower, and the stock just doesn't seem like it wants to turn around whatsoever. So we'll go through the Mag 7 right now. now, actually, just to see what everyone is down. So 20% almost. We'll call it 20% on Google. So there's Google. Then we're going to go to Apple. So we got one double digit from those all-time highs. Let's see what Apple's down to the lows. So just a little bit less, about 8.69. And then we got Microsoft too, which has been really stagnant the past while here since February of last year. So this is just a year and a bit of consolidation, but we print this all-time high in the middle of the summer there, July of 24, and we are now down about 17% off of those all-time highs in Microsoft. So we've done Google, Apple, Microsoft. Let's find Tesla. We know Tesla's down about 40% as well too. Down 40% at least, so 43% to those lows from peak to trough. And then we have, what's that other one that I'm looking for? So what do we do? Google, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, and give me one more Mag 7 there, Sharif. Amazon, yeah, bang, yeah. There we go, Amazon. And then we got Amazon down double digits as well too. All right, let's see, down double digits to the low, 16%, okay? So in order for us to climb back higher, we're going to need a little bit more of a gain, right? So it's a tough look, not as easy as it may seem, so it may take a while to print new all-time highs. If we continue to break through key support levels, then just set aside some cash, right? Like if you have some cash on the side, slowly start allocating into these names because they're the best of the best for a reason. And I know a lot of people are talking about sector rotation, and that's the case. But if you want to own the best and you believe that they're going to perform as the best, which I do, there's a reason that they're at the top, then you just have to be really patient because there is a lot of turbulence in this market. But let's get back to some iBid and see where we're sitting pretty, and then we're going to send it off to my guy. We're still holding these levels. If that volume steps in, then I think we're going to be okay, and then we're going to add heavy into this name for that higher day break, and that is the game plan. We're sticking to it.
All right, man. We're involved in 3 trades right now. BTAI, I got the $0.50 fill. This is the part where it has to hold up. It's the 10 exponential, as well as the fact that I perceive this area to be the kind of the flat top break with this kind of bull flag over here. We were kind of working our way up to the $0.50, kept rejecting until we ended up taking it quite aggressively. So I've already got my stop in place. We're long 57s with this ad. I took the majority of the position off of the top, so we did get the ad at the $0.50, but it's going to have to hold up generally in this area. I'm involved in a new trade as well. This one, LTBR, we're long 63s. I just wet the beak there at 75s. This is a VWAP retracement on L. Where am I waiting over here? 82s. Let's see if this one can pop off and get me filled. I'm seeing 75s come in now on the ask. Let's go back over here to see if BTAI will fill me. It's defending the $0.50 for now. Underline that for now. Let's see if it continues defending said $0.50 or whether we're going to have to get out of Dodge with a stop. So I've got a beak wetter at 58 and then 65. So we're involved in 3 small cap gappers right now. This one as well, RILY, looking for this one to continue with the higher highs and higher lows. I'm now waiting at 94s. I was able to move that down a skosh. Now this one, LTBR, showing me 81s. That's where I'm waiting. In fact, the level 1 is showing me 86s with the level the level 1 showing me 77s and 86s, but the level 2 showing me 81s and 77s. It's not printing, despite the fact that it's crossing. That is due to the spread between the bid and the ask. It's got to cross a little bit more for me to get printed. I'm going to pack my patience. I've got 84s on my side chart there. It's still not printing on it, so that kind of sucks there. All right, let's move back into RILY. Still waiting for that pop up into 94s, showing me 91s here. I like the patterns on all of them, but they're going to have to continue, and that has been the problem with these small cap gappers as of late, the lack of continuity, or so I feel. LTBR, we get the fill, very nice. So now we're long 60s. It's showing me 80s. Let's set up now a little bit higher at 90s. Let's see if we can get the fill in and around that area. So this one is doing well. We've de-risked the majority of this one on it. It's this one. BTAI, the bamboozler. It looks like a possible double top right here with that 275, 282 double top, 275 on the left, 282 on the right, and it's coming back into that predictable area of support, but it's not continuing on its merry way back up to the high side. So a loss of the $0.50 here gets me out. I've given it a bit of room so that it doesn't wick me out below the $0.50. So We'll see if that one wants to continue. Keeping an eye on Riley, keeping an eye on LTBR, now showing me 85s on LTBR. I'm waiting at 90, so nice VWAP bounce here, but we are by no means out of the woods here on LTBR, especially because it's only up 7.9%, 8% on the day. Yeah, so that's what I'm waiting for there. Keeping my eye on all three of these trades. Let's see exactly whether or not we can continue. Nick Dubb, BTAI 240, nice level. Don't disagree, dude. Don't disagree. I've got 57s. I did want to pick it up off the 10 exponential rather than waiting for VWAP. But I see your point there because VWAP is about 236, so 236, 240, generally, that's a good looking area there. So shout out to you, good call out, my man. RILY continuing to hang out above 90s here. I should probably take some out because, well, how many shares do I have? Yeah, okay, I can definitely get a little bit more here. I think that this is an appropriate area since it's having trouble with the level. Joseph Wilson, what do you got?
Yeah, Wayner, I would love to know what this guy's trading. As you can see, you're getting a little rowdy in the back there, so a good time putting out some size. Those boys are no doubt about it, so congratulations to them. And most definitely we will be talking about it relatively shortly. So just entered I bit above downtrend line closed. Let's see. All right, nice. Gorab, let's see if we can break through these levels. I think this is going to be really important. If we can punch through this, then we're going to definitely hit into that next range. So that's what we're going to be looking for. And I think we can go and test that high a day, which would be really nice. Give us about a quarter on this trade. And that's what we're going to look for. I don't know if the Qs are going to put in a new high day, but even if we get a retest of it somewhat, and then we break down, but you can see that I was in here, held it, and I'm talking about risk to reward here now. And now that I added extremely heavy, I'm going to hold on to this. But Gaurav, check this out. This is what I'm going off of. This doji right at VWAP that says, okay, we're in, and then now we're going to continue to climb. We run into this zone here. We're going to hold on to this trade because we got about 40 cents, closer to 50 cents ITM right now on this name. So that's what we need because we took a little bit larger of a loss, so then we just doubled it up there. So yeah. We're going to stay positive and hope that we get anywhere around 73s. 73s, we're going to take about 75% of that trade off and then take the rest to the top side. But that is it. I'm glad that Wayner's pumped right now because that means this evening is going to be even more exuberant, as Sharif likes to say. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that one. But like my boy said, he said, Joe, I don't even know, man. We're going to grab a White Claw or two, and that's it. And then we got to hit the gym after. So I'm like, yeah, man, you're right. We got to get those push-ups in. We got to get those dips in and just get ready for that comp that we got to set a date on. So that's what we're gonna do, man. Maybe we're gonna set a camp, like a 3-week camp now, because we've already been talking about it for a month. So 3 weeks from now, we're probably gonna get it done. So looking forward to that. What was I gonna do here, guys? Gonna hop right back into iBet and see what we got going on. Gora, bang! Let's go here, baby. We're really starting to get the ball rolling now. I like this possible test of the highs. Talking about these big names being down double digits, are we going to rebound? I don't think we're going to recover relatively quickly, but any form of rebound, we're looking to get this here. So let's go, Sharif.
Yes, sir. Just 1 second.
I continue. Throw your orders out there, guys. If there's anything that you guys want to look at here, let me know. We were talking about options chain a lot during the week and just the open interest at some of those key levels, that being 140. So now that those contracts are going to expire, then let's see how we can get this rolling, man. Because this name can start really buzzing. Because if that wall is eliminated, here we go. Now it's time for my. My little trusty tool here, all right? So we're going to pull it out here. So we got this wall. This is the 140 wall. Pretend this is NVDA. We have about 130,000 contracts at that level, right? So we got 130, sorry for the messy writing, but we got 130,000 contracts. But once this is eliminated, now this gives us room to climb higher, right? So that's exactly what we want to look for. IBIT is ripping. The Qs are ripping. Woo! I'm going to take some off the top here.
I like it, man. I like the vibe right now. All right, here's the deal, guys. We're doing well right now on Riley. We took out 7. Where are we long? 84s. Now I'm waiting at 705s. We've done decent on this one, so let's continue to pack our patience. Now, here we go. We're showing 04s. I'm waiting at 04s. In fact, if it can cross, then I'll get the print, and there it is. We get the print. Pleased as dang punch right now. Shout out to Adara, who's at home writing up a storm.
Bang.
Get it, Adara. Wherever you are.
Go IBIT, man.
Get him, IBIT. All right.
Where's the sirens?
Here, right here, my man. Say less, Joseph. All right, guys, I'm also involved in LTBR. Doing well on this one. Where are we long? 60s, it's showing me 95s. I'm now waiting at 99s. So we've got a couple of more outs on LTBR, but it's not forthcoming to the high side quite yet. Riley at days highs, printing days highs right now. I'm waiting on the other side there of 10, waiting at 12s or something like that. We just got the print at 6s. It's this one that is trouble, though. Let's call a spade a spade. BTAI. I didn't get involved in this one earlier because it hadn't taken out the pre-market high. It takes out the pre-market high, but guess what? It took it out by a few pennies. A few pennies means bupkis, I guess, to some of the people who are carrying or holding the bag or looking to get in short in the pre-market. And now it's looking awfully double top-ish, and I will get stopped out here if it breaks a $0.25. It is now below VWAP, so if it doesn't retrace above VWAP in a hot second, that's going to be the end of the trade for me. Let's see exactly where we're long 46s, so we will give some back here on this bad boy if it does lose that $0.25 area. I'm talking about BTAI. Yeah, these ones with a big level in the pre-market always seem to give me trouble. Always. And that's why I try to stay away from him. But anyway, we're involved in it now, so it's going to either have to stop me out or move back up. It's below VWAP right now, but I've put my stop below the $0.25. So here's the deal. Here we go. RILY, about 2 pennies away from getting filled on that one. LTBR, did I get the fill on this one? And bang, LTBR, we take out the top right there. So please, this dang punch with this trade, it's not so bad. This was a very predictable volume-weighted average price retracement. This is what it is right here. It came in, nice arc, nice, oh, there you go. Come on now. Come on, software. Show yourself. There we go. Nice arc, double bottoms to the T off that volume-weighted average price and bounces back up. I'm going to be looking for a flat top break here at 1150 if that manifests. So much so, do I like that level? I'm throwing out an alert at 11 1/3, so it gives me an advance notice of the move possibly into that high of day area. I think I did get the print on Riley. Here it is. So we're going to drop the cash on that one. We get top wick for now. Underline that, for now, on RILY. So that trade is done. LTBR is done. And the only one we're involved in now is this piece of hot garbage. I'm talking about you, BTAI, you little punk. Okay, now we've got 35s here at the last little area. It did breach VWAP. It's trying to retrace above it right now with a bit of a bottom wick. But I'm not going to be adding here. It's going to be either it pops back up or I get stopped out for the remaining amount. I hate you, BTAI. Bye.
Bye. Later. Yeah, well, it's mutual, because if you don't like them, I don't like them. Just like that. I see you do for your boy.
Oh, God, I hate this. I hate these pre-market pops,
you know
bro.
what I mean?
They kill me, bro. They kill me.
You know what I mean? But Gorev's talking about this candle single, this volume by time signature right here. Looking pretty good. And then we got that break of the high of day. So good recovery here on Bitcoin. I think that if this candle closes as it may right now, as it's currently printing, then we might get that hammer candle at an extreme low, and then we get that bounce. So this is going to be really cool. Los Pollos Romanos holding Coinbase for the BTC squeeze. Let's go. Let's go is right. I think there we go. We're back live on the stream deck there, guys. So this is what we got going on. All right. Took the loss here on IBIT. I'm like, okay, I'm out, right? We broke the support system, thought there was going to be more downside. See the price action start to turn around. But one thing to really keep in mind here was like, okay, let's see what we got cooking up here on the volume by time profile. Look at this buying volume here, guys, right? Look at the strength in it. Look at the genuity in the prints. And then on this pullback, look at that volume fall off a cliff. And this is what you want to know. This is what you want to look for. Whether it be the inverse, right, in a downtrend and you see the weak buying pressure on the pullback. But on this pullback, we have that weak buying pressure in the red candles, in those bearish prints, and then that volume really starts to kick in again. And that's what we want to see, and that can give you a little bit more conviction within the trade, right? And one thing about trading, and I heard Sean and them talking about it, and they're right, it's like, okay, yeah, it's so hard because what we work off of is essentially incomplete information, and that's what makes it so difficult, all right? Like with chess players, when I was reading this book, I forget what book it was in, but when you're playing chess, test, all that information is there, right? It's complete information, like everything you have, and I'm not a chess player whatsoever, but with trading, you don't know what that next minute is gonna bring. All right, so that's the one thing about trading, is that you're constantly working with incomplete information, and it's your job to figure out what is going to be possibly next. And quite frankly, it hasn't been a good week for me, and that's okay. I'm not like, that's it. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to mention it again, because it's time to move forward, and we're going to look to see what's coming for Monday. But here we go. Yeah, here we go on Monday. I mean, on IBIT, sorry guys. We're looking for this pullback, and you can see that the volume is dwindling as well too, guys. So keep an eye out on that. So we're going to look for that 48.50 target. I know Los Polios, our Mr. Long Shorts, was looking for that target on that name. Gorev's in it as well too. But then let's take a look at the TQs as well. I think that we can possibly go and test the high a day. It may take some time, but if these pullback candles stay on low volume, then I think we can take that next leg to relatively test it. We have put in that double top, which I think is a key metric, a key technical signal to always keep an eye out on. But if we blow through that, then you're going to see some more topside. The market has been just absolutely shellacked in the past couple of days, so a rebound is totally justifiable. How deep is it going to be? I don't know. It depends how much either a new buy program is going to be engaged, or how much shorts really start to cover. So that's what we're going to keep our eyes out on. The risk to reward on this trade wasn't the best. We got back in, doubled the size, and now we're turning it into a positive session.
All right, we're going to look at BBAI for Big Nick Dub. Let's look at this. So he's talking about a swing. He's talking about an entry opportunity. This is a really good area, Nick. In my humble estimation, this $5 area. It was an obvious area of resistance while we were making our higher lows. Look at this. This is the uptrend over here starting from, late fall. Yeah, not late fall. Yes, late fall. I know my seasons, I promise. I passed grade 4. But that's the point. We're putting in these higher lows, which is a nice uptrend, but you could tell we were definitely having trouble breaking through that $4.50 area. All hell breaks loose. We go up to $10, and then it breaks loose again to the downside. Lo and behold, we find a little bit of support here at 5. We got a bit of a hammer candle right now working. So if you are going to take a swing, this is a previous area of resistance, which could, underline the word could, act as a level of support here. Now, if it does, fantastic. You 50% move back up. You're looking at $8 of the halfway point between. A little bit lower than $8, about 7.75, 7.5. That could be the halfway point there. So you could easily get a move back up, even if we don't break highs. Why am I talking about 7.5, 8? It's kind of the halfway point between the area top and where we're hanging out right now. So BBAI looks good, but you're gonna have to practice risk management skills. So you have to ask yourself, where are you wrong here? And if you're wrong, basically, where are you getting out? So if we continue to make lower lows and lower highs, which we are, I mean, look at this. It's been uninterrupted of lower lows and lower highs with no holdup whatsoever in that pattern. Since essentially this candle of indecision here back on February 13th. It's been ugly. It's been real ugly. So my question to you is, where are you wrong? Where are you going to look to get out? Are you going to put your stop based upon your the ability to take, how much max pain you're willing to take, or are you going to base it on technicals? To me, it's kind of hard to see where you're very clearly wrong here, because you have so many different area crests, right? You have that 5 breach, you have a little bit of a here 475 with the closing print at 4.5. So it's a bit of a tougher one to gauge, in my opinion, if you're looking for a stop, but not so much to be able to identify support and resistance. I hope I didn't get too convoluted with there. Shout out to you, my man. Shout out to Nick Dub. Good look on your part there. Guys, Riley's continuing to go, so take out my order there nicely at 12s. It's trading at 16s right now, so a strong move up right now for Riley. This is a rinse and repeat type name. We've seen this bad boy for days now. It's showing up on the scanner. Even the Katina man was trading this, and he usually looks at these large caps, these Mag 7 names, but so much so that this one was in play that he was looking at it as well. So good look on RILY. This bad boy as well, LTBR. I feel awfully paper handish, taking it out there, but I mean, whatever. We'll look to do a little bit better. Here's the deal. I told you guys, I'm waiting for this one to get back into near highs. If it wants to get above that 11.5, I've already put my alert at 11 1/3. If it gets up there, then we're going to start talking about a flat top break possibly on this monster LTBR. Continuing to go. There's a lot more small cap gappers I'm going to get to in a second, but I just want to let you know BBAI is trying to hold above that third of a dollar. It's trying to get back above VWAP, right? Not BBAI, sorry, BTAI. Trying to get back above VWAP at 235. It's showing me 33s right now. Our cost basis is 41. I think I'm really going to scalp out of this one aggressively if I get back in the money because this is breaching my rules. I'm long this stock below VWAP. Obviously, I didn't get in initially below VWAP, but I've been fighting, I've been battling with this one right now, much to my chagrin. Let's bring in the trusty side charts over here and talk about the small cap gappers that we're keeping an eye on. Grrr is continuing to make higher highs and higher lows. This thing is up 15%, looking awfully directional, very respectful of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. It's a beautiful look here on Grrr. It's gotten a lot more expensive than when we were trading this initially. This thing's 28 bucks, going on 30 right now. Pardon me. So Grrr in focus, GRRR, guys. I'm just playing around when I say Grrr. And then SoundHound is back in focus after NVIDIA left its ass on the curb. I mean, fantastic look there. This looks awfully bull flaggish. Could be manifesting a double top at 11 bucks, 10.95 technically, but a nice move up here on Sound. Breaches a 10, breaches a 20, doesn't go into VWAP, and then bounces back up and rejects right at the same level it rejected at before. So we could get higher lows here and then create a flat top breakout potential here for 11 bucks. I don't know if Sound has a headline. Let's look. Yeah, I got it maintained a buy by D.A. Davidson, it looks like today. Did they report or something? Let me just have a look. Are they doing it? No, so I don't think they did. But they've got a couple of analyst chime-ins over here. Let's call them that, chime-ins, on SoundHound. Okay, so that one is in focus as well. HIMS, one that we had yesterday. This is bull flagging using VWAP here generally as an area of support, but much like it did yesterday and much like the pattern I drew yesterday, this pops up aggressively and then uses VWAP as support, all the while making lower highs. And that's why I drew this lower trend line over here yesterday. It's doing the exact same thing. It's making lower highs with this flat bottom. Did it end up flat bottom breaking yesterday? Would you say this is a flat bottom break? Area defend, defend.
All
tank.
day. Oh, yeah, all day.
Right? So this looks like it could do the same thing over here. HIMS, it flat bottom broke yesterday. We'll see if it flat bottom breaks today.
Yeah.
So that one in focus. I mentioned LTBR. As you can see there on your screen, Archer, ACHR. Fantastic look today for Archer. Higher lows, higher highs. The one and only one breach of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. Look where it finds support. Right at that $0.50, right where the 20 exponential moving average is, and it moves on and makes another higher high right now, trading at about 883. It's continuing to make higher highs and higher lows as I look at it. We haven't put it on the side chart. That's why it's not updating. Show yourself, Archer. ACHR, there we go. And now it'll update. So good look there for Archer Aviation. Riley giving back 7, but it's right back into that 10 exponential. Now we're done our trade on this one, but it doesn't mean we're done trading it on the day. So got into a 721 high a day, Joseph, but it's still putting in those higher highs and higher lows. That upward channel pattern on Riley is still in play. This could be another entry opportunity here for me on this name. So I'm going to keep my eye out on this one and then just continue to pray that BTAI doesn't make me look like an idiot, because right now, it is.
Ooh.
Sadly. That's the deal.
That's the spiel. I mean,
oh boy,
yeah,
what do you got?
Yeah, same stuff here, guys. I'm sitting in these. I just added a little bit to IBIT, nothing crazy, but like, it was like a 5 or 10% add. So nothing to be to cry home about or anything like that. But let's see what we got cooking up. Let's see. And as of right now, it's looking like the Qs have failed to put in a new high. So just have to be wary of that. But here we go, guys. So we had this trade number 1. Add, enter again, add here, double it up. And then we start taking some off, and then we add a little bit here. We're going to look for that 48.30 break to see if that happens. Why am I looking at that specifically? Let's see what we got going on from a lower time frame. You might be able to see it more clearly, but this is a genuine print, right? This hammer print right here, a nice volume candle, doji here on the potential pullback. So this is going to be the target. If we fail and we go to the south side, then we're just going to get out of this trade, because then that potentially is going to bring you to the next support level. So now let's see what we got going on the TQs. And yeah, same thing here, guys. Hold on to this. I don't think I'm going to add here just yet, because this is a potential lower high play. And with that, then if we continue to make lower highs, then you can break the bottom and break through VWAP. But I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case this morning. But guys, if you have any questions on options or whatever it may be, put them in the chat. We're going to go over it next week. I know we did in a little morning segment about it, but I want to get more in depth with the put to call ratio, and then we're going to get in more in depth with gamma as well too. So those are going to be coming up on Tuesday and Thursday, guys. So if you want to stay tuned and get into some advanced options. And you know what, Sharif?
Yes, sir.
The more I read and the more I just get into some of these things, there's more Greeks than what I thought. There's advanced Greeks. Okay. Yeah, they're called Vena and Charm. For those who are familiar, like we know that we got Delta, Gamma, Vega, and Theta, right? Those are the Greeks that we know of, and Rho, the 5 common Greeks that we know of, but there's more. There's Vena and Charm, and I'm like, what? How come I've been trading this stuff for a couple of years and I've never heard of them?
Very interesting.
But yeah, but you can get really in depth with Vena and Charm, and I'm gonna do a lot of due diligence and research to see what this leads me to, because I'm really curious. But what I've been studying with Gamma was actually led to by somebody here in the chat. They say, Joe, how do you utilize Gamma in your trading strategy? And I said to him, you know what? I focus more on Delta. Delta and Vega are really what I want to focus on. But then I started to dig a little bit more into Gamma, and I found some really interesting things. So Tuesday morning, when we do our little options talk, I'm going to go over something about it, and then we're going to get into more depth on the Tuesday during the midday show. So if you really want to dive into Gamma, make sure you join us on Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday morning, because we're going to be talking about it. And I found some really interesting things. I think just as options writers and even options buyers is really important for us to understand. So looking forward to that. Yeah, and here we go. We're getting a lot of people. We're getting a lot of people engaged on that stuff. So let's see what everybody else in the chat says. Damien says, love the passion. Made up even particles made up, those aren't even real Greek letters, are they? What do you mean? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't even know. I didn't know Vena and Charm were real Greeks, but they're advanced Greeks, okay? So keep that in mind. The hidden secret. Here goes Brandon Townsend, the hidden secret, all right? So there we go. Joey Swole for those gamma rays. Exactly. Yeah, Joey
flex
Swole.
on him, baby.
You like Joey Swole?
Flex on
You like Joey Swole?
Of course.
I Snapchatted him one time and he replied to me.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah, he's a solid dude. He's a solid dude, man. This was way back in the day, in like 2017. I was just in the gym, shoulders were pumped, and I'm like, shoulder swole, and I spelled it how he spells his last name. And he's like, let's go.
Is that actually his last name, though?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I figured you can't be that swole and literally have your last name
be that swole.
Like.
So Charmander, someone says. But yeah, that's the game plan here, guys. We're going to hold on to these until we get break even on both IBIT and the TQs.
I like it, Joseph. Okay, here's the deal. I'm back in Riley. We got long 02s to defend 7. It did wick off the 10 exponential moving average. I got to tell you, though, guys, yeah, we're long here, but we got baby size, because I was anticipating this would it would drop a little bit more. So I had planned DCAs, planned dollar cost averages down into low 90s, low 80s. It's now getting away. We're long 02s. It's showing me 15s. I've got a beak wetter up here at 21s. So we'll see if this one wants to print RILY. It is, I don't know, day 500. No, it's like day 3 or 4. Play on this name. It is kind of a small cap gapper, but you know, it's been running up. Seems the catalyst here is more than a one-off event, or so it seems. We'll have to wait or see whether or not that is accurate or what the situation is. BTAI is the bane of my existence, though. I'm disappointed with how I traded this. I should have just gotten stopped out through the 2.5, taken the L. I had de-risked already into 80s. Now I'm the schmuck who's holding this below VWAP. And, you know, I sit here and wax poetic for you guys for a couple hours telling you I don't take small cap gappers long nor sell the VWAP. Well, I technically didn't, but I did add into it, sell the VWAP. So that is a bit of, that's a bit of a trouble for me. Here it goes. It's trying to get above VWAP over here. You bet your bottom dollar I'm going to be de-risking if I get anywhere near break even, okay? I'm going to be looking to get out of some trouble on this one. It's above VWAP right now. It seems like it found support at that 50 exponential moving average on the 5. We'll see whether it does or not. Okay, so Riley does reject. It goes all the way up into about 19s, comes back into 7. So now it's got a 3-candle red pattern. Now it hasn't actually had a 3-candle red pattern on the 5 all day. This will be the first one right now on the 5, if the candle closes this way. So why is that important? Because it probably foreshadows a bit of a deeper retracement, which is what I was gauging. Why I put these resting entries on this one is because I was gauging a bit of a deeper retracement. So we'll see if that manifests or not. Back to BTAI, it just popped up into 40s or 39s and then zigging and zagging right back down. It is putting in higher lows, but I don't have a whole lot of faith in this one. I'll just tell you the truth. If I get anywhere near break even, I will be looking to basically de-risk a little bit on that bad boy. So keeping my eye out on that. Riley coming back down. So that's not a bad look here. I'm still waiting in the 90s and 80s, waiting or looking for this one to hold the 20 exponential on the 5. I'm talking about Riley. That's my trade. That's basically the trade I'm trying to get into right now, building my position into this. So this is the 4-candle red setup now. We had a 2-candle pullback over here, a 1 over here, basically a candle of indecision over here, and then this was a bit of a consolidation area rather than a pullback. This is the deepest pullback we've had today on RILY. There does seem to be a buyer now. I can kind of see that below 95s or at 95s. That kind of doesn't work for me because I'm waiting at 92, so I may have to move up my order here if it's going to defend that area. Let's move back to the other one. BTAI, because it's trying to pop back off above 40, but it's being kept down likely by the people who were keeping it down before. So I'm going to pack my patience on this one. If I can get out of trouble on BTAI, I'll be very happy. And if I can make some money on it too, I'll be even happier. Let's see if this bad boy will give me something. Let's throw out an order here at 45s, Joseph. We're long 41s. We'll throw out a 45 order there to see if we can extract some profits if this bad boy wicks up and then comes right back down. I'm looking at Soundhound right now too, guys, because Soundhound double topping over here like we kind of were worried about 10.95. I'd personally wait for a decisive break below 10.5, maybe even 10.40 if you want to be more conservative. If you're looking for the short, now I don't typically short these bad boys north of VWAP. It'll have to get below 10.1 for me technically to get involved, but you guys don't have to trade like me. This could be a double top right here. If it gives up at the neckline, then I think it might be an interesting short. Joe, what do you got?
Yeah, Gorev asked me a good question in the chat here. He says, Joe, is your stop at break even for IBIT? And yeah, that's my style of trading, Gorev. As soon as I take off any form of profit and lock it in, that stop goes to break even. Now it's time to bust out the old trusty tool and just think about like why I specifically do that, all right? So let's use this as an example. So I enter here, right? So say I enter around this level, and then I take some profit up around here, and then it comes back to my break even. I don't want to make a winning trade a losing one, because if it comes back to my break even, I can just get out and then get right back in if it's essentially right there, right? Or even if it comes a little bit lower, then I can get back in at a lower price and then increase my risk to reward ratio to bring it back to the top side and hit those targets that I'm looking at. All right, so that's specifically my style. It's just how I run it, and it seemed to be working for me for some time. But yeah, guys, that's it. Holding on to TQs, we might get stopped out here briefly. 72.40s is that break-even stop. Holding on to it right now, looking like the market wants to come in. And one thing that we always have to keep an eye on, we are constructing lower highs. So here we go. The inability to break through and breach that. So yeah, it's looking like we're going to get stopped out on this one. That's okay, because if we come back and retest VWAP, guess what? We can just get right back in. And now we didn't make a winning trade a losing one. So that's what we want to do, and that's kind of the name of the game. But now let's talk a little bit about what's going on here with Amazon. It's not looking too pretty. Okay, yeah, I got to pop out of this TQQ trade because the market seems to want to come in a little bit. And if there's turnaround signals, then we can always just get right back in, right? So, okay, so we're all out of that one. Decent trade there, nice add. If we get VWAP, then we're just gonna get right back in. We were in on this indecision candle right here, right at a 11:30. We go over these price action prints all the time, and then it's just sometimes you have to really take advantage of them. And it's the same thing here with Walmart and Amazon from a daily perspective. I'm always looking for the same thing. Right, that's just my style. Let's pull it out from a daily, and we're holding these levels right now. That's the thing, right? Like I was looking to get out at 120. Unfortunately, I didn't get a fill, and then we just put in a pretty hefty loss of a day there. So about a 5% session to the downside on Amazon, and that's okay. If we hold this, then I think we're going to be sitting pretty, and I think this name can recover. I mentioned time and time again how much from a percentage metric from the peak to this local low here is down about 16%. Okay, and at one point is buyers going to step in. We put in about 4 or 5 consecutive red days, and then just had this waterfall type price action. So if we can hold this here, then I think the trend can still be intact, and that's exactly what we're going to look for here. Hold on to these. If we can hold on to these levels, then we should be okay. But if we breach 200, then I have a stop down at 202, and it's going to be a little bit of a hefty loss, but that's okay because I put on some size for this name. So we'll be patient and see. Yeah, we'll be patient and see what it's going. I got stopped out of NVDA right at the open this morning as well too. So that was a little bit of a tough swing. I wish I got a little bit more out at 140. I decided to add after earnings, looking for that bounce. But now it's just a lesson learned, right? Like we've seen that that put and call wall at that 140, and we rejected it heavy. Guys, we talked about it throughout the whole week leading up into the earnings report. Is just be wary of that amount of size at 140. And sure enough, look what happened to NVDA. It traded as low as 116 in the this morning as well in the pre-market. So a really massive rejection. Those contracts are expiring today, this evening. So if that wall can be eliminated, then there could be some potential topside as well too for this name. So yeah, we like that. Tesla's holding up half decently as well too. Unfortunately, those 350 contracts don't pay anything, so you can't trade that. But if you want to look at the like 300, 305s, then you can get something. But one thing I want to touch on before I send it to you, Sharif, is that someone mentioned the VIX here in the chat, and it's my job to go and look at. Okay, when I hear the VIX, I have to go and look. It's just embedded in me, right? So I pull it up and I'm like, hey. Wow, here we go. I'll pull it up here for you guys. Look at the VIX here. Now running into some key resistance levels. If we break through this, then yeah, that means there's going to be more volatility in the market, and there's probably going to be more downside, right? I always talk about the inverse correlation, but when I'm looking at the VIX, I obviously have to pull up the options chain. And I'm, okay, let's see what we got going on here. So in March 11th, and I found this extremely interesting. Extremely interesting. March 11th expiry, the 30 calls are paying 43 cents a contract. That's insane. That's crazy. Wow. And in order for us to go up to 30, that's a 45% gain in the VIX. That means there would have to be complete capitulation in the overall broader market for us to get up there. There would have to be a massive news event up there. So that is going to be my next trade. I'm telling you right now, I'm selling those 30 calls on the VIX, and I'm going to sell a handful of them. That is the game plan, because I don't think come March 11th that the VIX is going to spike all the way up to 30. The last time it went up there and it didn't touch it was in December, Friday, December 19th, 18th, whatever it may be. And then prior to that, it was August 5th. Okay, so that it's been a while, and I told Sharif in a statistic a while ago, and it actually came to fruition. The VIX has only spiked over 80% 5 times in a session. And when it does that, the market then makes a new all-time high. The SPY tapped a new all-time high and then sold off. So I don't think that the VIX is going to go to 30 by March 11th. So that is exactly why I'm going to sell some calls against that this trade here, Sharif.
Okay, big fight. Did you see this?
Tank?
Connor Ben and Chris Eubanks.
And Chris, yeah.
See that slap?
Yeah, that was like slow. I'm surprised Connor didn't like dodge that. I felt like it was a little slow there. Yeah. Did you see? Oh no.
You never seen that video? How could she slap?
No.
You gotta shake. Yeah, grab something and shake it. Yeah.
Shake.
Not that one. Not that one. Grab like a regular window. Yeah.
Shake it off.
Yeah. Take it. There you go. Well, Joseph, you don't have to break it, bro. All right, I'm gonna let you cook.
Hey, I'll figure
I'm gonna let you cook,
Yeah,
bro.
I'm gonna let you cook.
All right.
Says the key puncher. The key puncher. Come on.
All right. I told I forget who it was, but I told someone I'd look at Rigetti for them. So let's have a look at Rigetti. It's a swing trade. Apparently, this person's looking at RGTI. So it's been a tough look for Rigetti. Essentially, it's been making lower lows and lower highs since let's say around January 24th. I mean, it did pop off a little bit off the lows, but it made another lower high back on February 4th as well. So a bit of a tougher look for Rigetti. Look, I mean, Rigetti for me, there seems to be a lot of buy support at $6. We haven't gotten there quite yet. There is this area trough from back in mid-December at around $6, 6 1/3, and then we came down over here mid-January, January 14th, January 13th. We kind of got into this $5.5, $6 area. You can see most of the closing prints, though, they're above that $6 area. So if we do get down, excuse me, into $6, I think that could be an interesting area. However, you're not riding the trend. You're basically trying to guess that support is going to be found in that $6 area on Rigetti. I mean, the easier trade seems to be to take the short at least into 6 and then maybe look to flip long at 6. I mean, that's the only thing I can see for a long on Rigetti. This is the hourly chart. This goes all the way back to December. If you're to look at the daily, let's flip to the daily here on Rigetti. So there is that $6 area as we spoke about, but that's the kind of the double bottom there at 6. There's the initial 6 hold. There's the other 6 hold, but it really does seem like it's just on the way down for maybe a flat bottom break through 6. Let me know how it goes, though. RGTI, interesting look, no question about it. Definitely selling off ever since Quantum kind of just came back down after Jensen said 30 years, this, that, and the other. We all know the story about that. Riley still involved in this one, showing me 16s. I'm long 2s, waiting at 21s to see if we can get the fill. None of my dip trades did get filled, though, sadly. So I will be looking to add into this one if it does continue to go up. I'm also looking at LTBR possibly for a flat top break. It is on its way back up after defending 11. Okay, here's Riley. We're showing 21s now. If it can cross, it showed me 21s there for a second. Doesn't cross, so we'll have to pack our patience there. We'll keep tabs on that one. But Peppa Pig, PEPG, taking out highs there, and the volume all of a sudden has come in here on Peppa Pig. I'm just kidding when I call it that. PEPG is a ticker. Very sideways movement here between 265 and 280 for the most part. Then the volume, as you can see, starts coming in here for whatever reason midday, and we are moving on up, boy. 297. It looks like we're on our way to $3 here on PEPG. We're still below yesterday's high. Yesterday's high does take us to 310, but I'll submit to you the real level here is $3 because these were just wicks above that $3 area. We're awfully close, though, to $3 here on PEPG. Let's see if this bad boy wants to continue running up and get something around there. Yeah. I didn't get the fill on Riley, sadly, at 21s, and now it's coming a little bit back down. BTAI, the bane of my existence, continues to hold up above that 50 exponential moving average, which is where I've placed my stop below. So we still haven't gotten stopped out, but I'm not going to be adding anything around here whatsoever. I'll either get stopped out or it'll pop back up and just fill me on these names. I don't have a whole lot of faith in this one. PEPG probably requires more attention from me, though, because that's the one that's moving right now. There it is. There's a move into 3. So we are technically above that pre-market high. We printed, I believe, 297s in the pre. That was right at 4 a.m. So, I don't want to put too much stock into that because the volume was a little light on that bad boy. But the point is, this one is getting volume now. It's at a key level, $3. I saw what happened with 3 yesterday, though, on PEPG. It did end up rejecting the level. So technically still an inside day right now on Peppa Pig. But if we can get above those yesterday highs, it'll definitely open up some space for us to continue to possibly run up. It's having trouble, as you can see right now, with that $3 area. So interesting look there. What else we got on focus? Yeah, LTBR, I've been packing my patience here. So now we got a lower high. So we got about into 11 1/4. We got about to 11 and a quarter, comes back down to 11, finds some support. So it's technically a higher low, but also a lower high. I got nothing to do on this one until it takes out the day high. So I put my alert out for that 11 and a third. It still hasn't triggered, so not going to do anything on that. And as I can see there, looks like I will get stopped out of BTAI. Finally, at least we can put the misery behind me here. TC says TRNR. I did have a look at that one earlier. It wasn't to my liking. Let's see if it's a little bit better now. Yeah, it's still below the area highs. Let's show everybody what I'm talking about. TRNR is the ticker. You're not the only person who called it out, so I don't mean to single you out or anything like that. Let's flip to the 5. Oops, that's a 10. Yeah, so this one, it did have all sorts of zigs, all sorts of zags. I mean, if you're a small cap gapper trader, I don't want to speak for anybody, but this is not what I look for on a chart, okay? I want to see a trend. And this doesn't show me a trend. This shows me chaos. A little below VWAP, a little above VWAP, a head and shoulders pattern that finds support off the 20 and then makes a new high. This is chaos right here if you're looking for small cap gapper trades. And it's quite hard to read, kind of hard to understand what this wants to do. So in those cases, I typically stay away from it. But you know what, just looking at it ex post facto, it does seem to have a bit of an uptrend over here. So if you're able to pick up anything off this lower trend line, perhaps that could be the move. I mean, shout out to you, but to me, just it's got way too much zig, way too much zag. It doesn't know what it wants to be when it grows up. It's got a tendency of doing this. Look at these outsized moves from yesterday and the day before. We move up, we move all the way back down. We move up, we move all the way back down. Now, there is a trend to be had, even though that there are these spikes. Look at these higher lows, right? So there is a wider trend to see here, but that's more on a multiple day level. Intraday gives you aggressive retracements back to the downside. That isn't my cup of tea, all right? I'm looking for some predictability. This doesn't offer it, so I'm steering clear of TRNR, Joseph.
Yeah, good luck there, my friend. Let's see what's going on here. I got out of the TQs trade. I do like that Tesla looks like it's kind of bull flagging. But the thing is, though, I don't want to grab the top of this range. So I'm going to probably just be a little bit patient. And it is Friday, so I just got to be really selective there. Be like a sniper, right? I can't be like a machine gunner all the time. Got to snipe and find those really key entries and just try to take full advantage of them. But I do like the way TSLA is setting up about 5.6%. on the session, so that would put Tesla up about half of that there, guys, so about 2.5 or so, roughly. But yeah, let's see what's going on. Let's cook up with that one. And people who were talking to me, asking me a lot of questions about the VIX trade, what I got to do is I got to construct a spread, right? So even though I'm collecting $45 a contract, roughly so, I'm going to have to buy some calls on that position too, so that's going to reduce the premium, but I'm okay with widening that spread to about $10. So that will still put me at about $20 a contract by March 11th with delta of about 1.5. So let's give us an 85% chance roughly that those contracts are going to expire worthless, and that's exactly what we're going to look for. All right, guys. But we have a $10 Matt R, our guy. Yeah, we got a $10 super, 10 quid actually. Okay. 10 quid actually. Appreciate what you guys do. Been watching daily and learning so much. Much love. Keep the great work going. A million subscribers this year for sure. Yeah, I mean, on the pace that we're on, we're definitely going to be hitting that quarter milli and that milli relatively soon. So yeah, I'm thankful to be a part of that and with these guys because they've been in it a lot longer than I have. So yeah, congratulations to all of them. Katina Man, Neil, Sean, Brando been in it since the jump. So and you've been here a long time as well too, Sharif. So yeah, those are big milestones for these guys, and I'm just happy to be a part of that. Let's see what else everybody else is let's see what everybody else is looking at. All right, we are starting to get that breakout here on Tesla, and the volume is starting to pick up. I've been bitten too many times this week with just buying the top of the range, so I'm not going to do so unless I see a mass amounts of volume stepping in here. So I'm just going to be really, really patient for the remainder of the session. I'm going to hold on to this IBIT position as well too as we continue to hold on. Oh, actually, I thought I punched out of it all. I still have a couple shares remaining, so I'm just going to get out that little bit and just be a little bit more patient because it's been all right so far, and we're going to try to keep it that way, Sharif.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Still waiting here on Riley for a print, guys. It keeps working into that fifth of a dollar area, 720, but we still haven't gotten anything there. So it's been quite consolidative between 7 and 7 1/5 for the last, just I want to say 20 minutes, half an hour. But it's really the GRR story right here. GRRR is a dang rocket ship right now. I'm just looking, sorry, I've got to digress for a second because Peppa Pig is rejecting 3, but it's coming into this predictable area over here where it found a lot of consolidation. So I wonder if here would be a good area to pick it up because there were certainly buyers here first time around, right? So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick up an entry-level position here, and then we're going to look to dip trade into 70, and then I like this into 65 if we can get 65, excuse me. There we go. So we'll throw that out there. We'll see if we can get something over here for that consolidative area. Anything below 260 though, I'm gone Zeno on this one. So it's going to have to hold that level. Peppa Pig was good to me yesterday. It's a big boy move into $3, but a big boy rejection as well. So yeah, we'll see if that one wants to continue to do its thing 25 or what the situation is. So I've set up some dip trades there. But this is the one I was telling you about, guys. GRR, GRRR. Let's load up this bad boy here because it continues to go and go and go. Now, this is not doing a whole lot of volume, nor is it the biggest percentage mover on the day, but you can hardly argue with a chart that looks like that. I mean, I probably wouldn't. Great look, but volume is a little sus on this, about 2.4 million shares traded on a $20 name, but it is giving you predictable areas off which to pick it up. I'll submit to you it's the 10 exponential moving average on the 5, of which it's been very respectful. So if you're able to shadow these moving averages using your platform somehow, I know I can do it on my platform, not this one, my personal platform, then have at it. It'd be a good look there. Make sure that you're shadowing these levels with adjusting orders because they're dynamic. And what I mean by that is a 10 exponential changes every time a new period, a new candle appears on your screen or on your chart. So if you're charting on the 1, it changes every minute. If you're charting on the 5, it'll change every minute, or every 5, excuse me. So keep your eye out on that. Make sure you are adjusting your orders if you're trying to shadow these moving averages. That's kind of what I'm trying to say there. All right, back to Riley, still waiting up here for any ad. BTAI, I don't even want to say this one's name. It angers me just to look at it. No, I'm kidding, of course. I'm just exaggerating for a fact, guys. I'm not angry at all on the day anyway. At least not yet. Give it some time. Give it some time. I might get angry later. No, I'm playing. Peppa Pig. All right, we picked up this bad boy. There we go. Now it's dipping down aggressively. It is below VWAP right now, so this could be trouble here. What's our long here on Peppa? 65s. There we go. Let's put the order out there for the stop out. So I need to see my shareage first. What do we got here on Peppa? Yeah, we're decent. Okay, not too bad. Not too bad. We're gonna go like that, and then oops, we're gonna go like this. So go ahead like that, and then we're gonna go down to here. Good. All right, so there we go, Peppa Pig. We've got that bad boy now. The stop is in order. So let's go ahead and throw some beak wetters if this bad boy is to pop back up. Let's catch some on the right side. But Peppa Pig just lost a huge bid there, and there was a long consolidative area that it just absolutely, just blew through. It didn't even matter to it. So it's going to have to hold up at these areas over here for me to stay involved in this one. PEPG is the one I'm talking about. Let's continue to watch that one. BTAI is still curling, trying to curl back up over here. Seems to find a base at 20, but it's not making any higher highs and higher lows. Here we go with Riley, back into 21s again. It's literally at 21s right now. I can see it coming in on the time of sales. Look, 21, 21, 20, as Adaria says, 21, 21. I'm still going unfilled. I have priority here. I don't know why. I've been waiting for a hot minute at 21s, but I'm not getting filled, which is fine. Let's see if this one can continue on its merry way to take out that high a day. That's what I'm waiting for right now on Riley Jose.
Yeah, Riley. Yeah, there's a little smirk on the kid's face here. It's just because how I am.
The Katina kids are here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that okay? Is that Gia? Is that Gia there?
That is Gia.
Oh,
that is Gia.
Oh wow, the hockey superstar.
I think it.
The hockey.
Yeah,
I don't think it is though. To be honest with you.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it might be somebody. Is that Gia there? Yeah, there it is.
No, I don't think it is. That's not her.
No, I don't think so.
Katina, man. Oh, that's not Gia.
No. I was gonna say it's someone different there. So hello, they're on the screen. Yeah, some guests coming through the studio here, guys. So they're having fun with Sean and Neil over there. So Yeah, good look there, guys. Having a little bit of fun, just showing some people around. And a lot of people in the chat have been messaging me like, say, hey, Joe, I want to come to Toronto, blah, blah. I know Adam DeLuce has been to Toronto and some other viewers as well, too. So if you want to say hi to Sharif, feel free. You can stay at his house.
Guy, bro. What?
Totally joking. Do not take that offer up whatsoever.
Like, what's happening?
Yeah, just volunteer, Sharif, for things. But I mean, good times, man. But yeah, here we go, guys. I think we're going to get stopped out here if this base breaks out here on IBIT, looking for that continuation in the trend. But we are up already a percent on the session, so going to be patient. Just going to try to hold on to some of these gains. Maybe it's time to start downsizing a little bit here. Yeah, here we go. It's so frustrating. That's okay. Yeah, we're out of this one here, guys, as we break lower and lower, and the market's starting to pull back in as well, too. So it might be a little bit of sideways price action for the remainder of the day, because we know that sellers were fully engaged yesterday and the previous couple days, and it's hard for them to get exhausted that quick, right? Especially when the market has kind of been in a relative downtrend. And I'm surprised that the Qs and the SPY aren't down more than what they are, considering how much these big names are. The Mag 7 are down double digits, and the market's still only down about 4 or 5%. So that's a good look there. We got some bills to pay, guys. Let's get into it.
All right, guys. Each year, 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S., yet there is still no FDA-approved treatment. NIZ-listed Oragenics, OGEN, is changing that with its first-in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Oragenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. So you can learn more and schedule a meeting today. Scan that QR code on the bottom right of your screen. And if it's available, I'm sure the link will be in the description, because the production team is kind of undefeated, and they always try to take care of that stuff. They are undefeated.
Very much so.
Shout out to them. Guys.
Hey.
We got some people up there at the... Maybe we could surprise them a little bit, Andre. What do you think, huh?
Hey.
Andre?
We need some behind... We need... All right, we're gonna hit some... Are you guys going to hit the bang? Oh, hey, let's go. Yeah, I mean, good stuff, man. We need the behind the scenes with Fabian again. Those shots are great and absolutely fantastic.
Hey.
But here we go.
Yes, sir.
Let's see what the chat is up to here, guys. Black Whip, Sharif, Joe, appreciate you as always. Going to be gone after today for 3 weeks, taking care of family member having surgery. Wish you all the best.
We wish you the best, bro.
Looking forward to being back after. Black Hawk JP, we wish you to be back, and we'll be sitting right here waiting for you. So hope all goes well with you and the family. Take care, take a little break, and we'll be happy to see you when you return. Now, guys, Joseph. All right, well, we'll go through one more. Joseph, can you look into it? Is it worth? WeRide makes first European full driverless commercial robo bus deployment in France with Beirut. Yeah, give me a EJ, give me a ticker to look at, and we can go over that for sure. So shout out to Trader TV Live. Stevenson says as well too. So thank you guys. It is Friday, so I don't expect too much more crazy price action in the day. And I'm thinking about. I know you were talking about Rigetti not too long ago, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
And for me, I'm like, hey, do I just put $1,000 in this thing, because who knows what can happen in 10 years, and then maybe is it like the next NVDA of I guess quantum computing, right? Or does it get acquired, right? Because it gets bought out, right? Like Google comes out and buys it, or something like that, or a big name. So I'm looking for that 10 bagger.
Man, you know what concerns me, Joseph? Let's talk about this though. Microsoft created an entirely new state of matter. I don't know what you learned in science class, but we understood that there were solids, gas, and liquids. Yeah. All of a sudden, I also knew later on in life that plasma is a state of matter as well. But I didn't know that growing up.
Little Vance, yeah.
Yeah. And then apparently there's another state of matter that Microsoft came up with. Why does this all matter?
What is this? Yeah.
Because clearly,
no pun intended.
Huh?
Why does it all matter?
I like that. Okay, my money's on you. Forget Obi, bro. No, play it. No, seriously though. So if that is the case, then clearly these hyperscalers, these kind of mega caps, are already putting everything, behind this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So do the smaller research firms, QBTS, QUBT, RGTI, do they got a shot?
It's tough, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Like-
totally know what you mean, because it's like they come knocking on your door and say, hey, we got like 4 or 5 billion for you guys, 10 billion. You know what I mean? What do you do at that point?
Well, no, I mean, like, can Rigetti, or can these guys,
can they
compete?
Can they scale up to that?
Like, can they make a genuine, can they make themselves a genuine competitor against these hyperscalers who have a legit, like, let's call it spade a spade. It's literally an unlimited amount of money.
Unlimited amount of money.
Not literally, but you know what I mean.
I'm going to try to compare it to NVDA here, right? Because we've seen what's happened in this company in the past decade, right? Essentially coming from just like a basic gaming chip to becoming one of the largest chip makers on the planet.
Right.
Can that happen? Like, what if they're just like, no, hey, we have something better. We have a product that is better than what you guys can create, and then we just ride with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
my understanding is some of them are working actually together.
Yeah, for sure.
So
but
that
I mean,
would be interesting there. But
I mean, anything can happen, right? And Michael Noss said that.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Michael Noss made a good point this morning too. He's like, the leaders who are leaders now weren't the leaders forever.
Good
right?
point.
Right?
Good
so
point,
so
yeah.
it's like, okay, can there be emerging leaders? Obviously, Cisco was the largest company in the NASDAQ at one point. It is no longer. So you can get that rotation within these names. And if quantum computing decides to take that quantum leap, then you know what I mean? Then it can definitely happen. I don't know how you feel about that.
I feel that way too. Like, think about OpenAI. OpenAI was like this subsidiary, and they got what? They got 10 billion?
10 billion, something like that.
So the point is that these hyperscalers throw around money. These smaller companies take an ownership interest or whatever, an IP interest. So it could work that way as well. I mean, you don't have to own the company outright. You throw money their way, like Softy did.
To help with R&D and stuff like that, I guess. So
that's the thing there, right? So. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think of the chat? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this. It's super interesting stuff. Obviously, we're just scratching the surface when it comes to quantum. Obviously,
so
I mean,
this is what RCP Sear says. I work for a large company researching quantum. There's a lot of cross investment in the small quantum startups, and it's still the Wild West. Lots of university sourced players contributions.
Really? So, well, that does make sense.
Right?
That makes absolute sense.
Makes a lot of sense. Yep. But I mean, someone can emerge, right? Like, again, I like what Michael Noss said this morning. He said the leaders that are the leaders now weren't always before. And why can't that happen in a space like quantum computing?
I mean, it can and it does. I mean, was OpenAI the godfather of AI?
Yeah, exactly.
It came out of nowhere. November 2002, I hadn't heard anything about this company, but again, I wasn't really deep in the AI game, but I hadn't heard them. They weren't in popular culture. And now all of a sudden they're a household name, bro. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I was about to use expletives. My bad. Yeah. This it just raised that $340 billion valuation, dog. Like, that's ridiculous amounts of money. In case anybody's wondering, closing in on $500 billion here.
Yeah. So interesting conversation for sure, and I like how you guys chime in as well too. So good talks there, guys. Let's see what's up with QBTS, considering we're talking about the quantum space, and see what they're up to. QBTS. And you know what? And I like that I have you guys in the chat and Sharif and everybody on the floor around me, because I get stubborn with what I trade sometimes. And I got to ask myself, like, why weren't I trading Rigetti? Why wasn't I trading Rich Tech Robotics? Why wasn't I trading QBTS when they were all in play about a month ago, right? Like, when they were, or a couple months ago, like, come November, this is what you want to look for. If you ask me right now, this is not in play, right? This stock right here, in this whole section right here, is not in play. But then when we get into here, guys, this is an in-play stock, and this is what we need to be able to identify and look to take advantage of, all right? In this session alone, we put it up, this is almost 100%, or not 100, it's like a 50% return in one day. This is an in-play stock. This is not in play. And when things are in play, we have to be able to trade them and just be like, hey, put aside that bias and look to take advantage of these companies that are trending right now.
Yeah, straight up. Someone asked me if I was going to get into Riley again, and I should have. It's obviously now ranging between $7 and $7.20. You don't need to be a chartered market technician to kind of see that it's rejecting off one area and bouncing off another. Let's talk about it. So zooming in a little bit, there you go. You can kind of see the wicks all kind of bounce off 7, and they all reject off 20. But this, to me, is bullish. because your area troughs are still a little bit higher. You're obviously finding support at the whole dollar level. I'm talking about $7, but by the same token, you're having trouble breaking through that fifth of a dollar, that quarter of a dollar area. So RILY still very much in play in my humble estimation. $7 would be a fantastic entry off it if you're able to weasel something into that. So we'll continue to watch that and report on it. What's the situation up with this piece of garbage? Peppa Pig. All right, now we're in the money on Peppa Pig. I'm still waiting for the print at the $0.75. Now, this is interesting here. This is an area resistance, previous support, excuse me, that's now acting as resistance. I'm talking about that $2.75 area on PEPG. Here we go, 74s again. I'm waiting at 75s and 82s. We'll see if this one wants to pop off. Showing me 75s, still not printing me because of the spread. The spread has been the bane of my existence today, whether it's on Riley, whether it's on PEPG or everything else. There we go. Now we get the print. We got a good amount of shares on this one. Let's go ahead and wait. Up here, we'll wait at 77s. I'm going to layer my orders in case this thing wants to catch a bid and then pop off. And, you know, I don't see it while it's moving up. The resting orders will help me with that. So showing 77s, there's a print again. Now we're going to wait for 82s possibly to come in. It's already showing me 79s on the ask. It's going to have to move up a little bit more. What's the best print there I can see on the level or on the time and sales? I'm seeing 79s. That's basically the best print there. About 5,000 shares or so came in on the D gateway. What's D gateway? I used to have a little
gateway list there.
Yeah, I used to. There it is. D. NASDAQ ADF regional only 554. Yeah, this is Prads, so it probably needs some updating on that one. But yeah, so right now, not a bad look for PEPG. We definitely get out of some trouble with a great cost basis now of 67, which is above VWAP. So now my cost basis above that volume weighted average price makes me feel a little bit better in terms of, the fact that the chances of it dropping like a stone or a rock are lessened. It still can. Absolutely. These small cap gappers, we know their modus operandi. They can lose the bid in a hot second. We're talking about odds here. So that's the look right now. This one, though, continuing to do nothing. And now, in fact, BTAI is now using VWAP as a level of resistance. It didn't respect VWAP all day. Kind of used VWAP as a line of best fit, fitting through the middle of the price action. Now, all of a sudden, it likes it. It wants to use it as resistance. BTAI, not a good look on the day. Let's go back up to the one that is a decent look right here. PEPG, I'm still waiting at 82s for a pop-up. It looks like it popped up into 79s, and that was the best it could do. So I'll continue to wait on this one, see if we can get some more out there. But it probably behooves me as well, since I, wax poetic about this, to start working my way back into Riley. I don't see any lower highs on Riley. I see a flat top, and I also see support at 7. So why am I not working my way into that $7 area, especially if I don't see lower highs and I don't see lower lows? It probably does behoove me to do that, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait at 01s. For small size, we'll look to get back into RILY if it'll have me. I'll work my way into this. And I'll look to defend this one at least into 6 3/4 because that's where the volume weighted average price is. It's a multiple day runner. Clearly, buyers are looking at this and liking it basically every day because it keeps, moving on up every day. So that's a look right now. Let's go back into PEPG. All right, it dipped down just a skosh, but it's right back up with a higher low on the current candle, showing me 78s now on the ask if it can move on up a little bit over here into 82s. Now, here's the deal. Probably is a smart idea to put a beak wetter at 79s, and here's why. Look at this area over here. We had a lot of trouble with 80s. We did. I mean, this is the 5-minute chart. So essentially, since we dropped back below 80 at 1040, we weren't able to take that level again till 1205. So a period of an hour, a seller kept keeping this bad boy below 80s. Then, for whatever reason, the volume came in. We popped up into 3. We dropped down into 250. This is typical algo trading. What I'm trying to say here ineloquently is, if there was a resistance at 80 and we kind of spiked up and spiked down, maybe we fall right back into that pattern that we were doing before, which was ranging between essentially 70 and 80. If that's the case, then I want to take out some in front of that 80 area to de-risk a little bit more. Did I get the Riley entry? The answer to that is no. So this one's still hanging out at 10s, but we know it's a bit of a 20 penny range from 7 to 7 1/5. I'm sorry to keep talking about the same stocks over here, but yeah, that's what I'm looking at on the day. And I wanted to mention that we talked about HIMS yesterday as a possible flat bottom break, and that's exactly what it did. It had a bit of a bull flag pattern, used VWAP here as support, only to break down and then really give up the ghost for a big banger short there below VWAP. I perceive this to be kind of doing a very similar pattern today in the fact that it made a big move up, and then it has an area high at 44.80 with the subsequent areas or area crests all lower high, with that flat bottom at 43 1/4, which is VWAP. If this gives up VWAP on a closing basis, I will take this bad boy short today, especially because we have a lower high than yesterday and a lower low. So despite the fact that this is up on the day because it gapped up above that 41 1/3, it is a downtrend, at least from yesterday. So lower high, lower low from yesterday, and it already showed you its propensity to make lower highs and flat bottom break. Now, having said that, let me caveat that whole thing by saying that this could have been related to the market sell-off yesterday. Now, we know the market sold off aggressively into the close. So the fact that a flat bottom broke through VWAP towards the end of the day may not be characteristic of the stock, but more along the lines of it following the overall market and selling off aggressively. So I'm thinking about that as well. So I don't want to be too, what do they say when you're hyper-focused on one idea? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you don't want to be too
narrow-sighted.
Yeah.
Say it again, Andre. Fixated is a good one. Yeah, but that's not the one I'm looking at. You know what I mean,
deer
though.
in headlights, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, no, not deer in headlights. But what am I saying? Kind of narrow-sighted a little bit. Anyway, whatever. Tunnel vision.
Tunnel vision. Thank you.
Breathe. There we go. Fixated, tunnel vision, obsessed. There we go. Now we're getting all the chat's undefeated, bro. Straight up, man. Undefeated. They always come with the assist, with the A. Yeah, so that's the situation right now, Joseph. Still holding on to these bad boys, trying to get out of trouble on BTAI. Happy with PEPG.
Yeah, good luck there, my friend. Let's see what's going on.
Myopic. That's the one.
Whoa, myopic. Wow.
My man CB comes in with
CB Lamb.
CB? Wow, this guy's just pooping all over me today, bro.
CB. I was just looking at Netflix. Nick W., we're going to go over Uber in just a second here, my friend. Just to see, this is relatively holding up stronger too, so only 10% compared to some of the other big names. I think that this is a buy. I'm not going to say it's a buy. We're going to breach it. I think we're going to head into this gap a little bit and fill this downside, and then we might turn around things in Netflix. But now it's like, now we're at the tail end of earnings. It's like, okay, when is Q1 going to come out? And it's like, now I'm just waiting for Q1, but that's still not a couple weeks away. Not for another couple months or something like that. But Uber, let's get into Uber from my guy Nick W. and see what we got cooking up as well. So it's not looking like overly pretty, just like the overall market. The breadth is weak here, guys. So we really need to keep that in mind. So this is a lot of sideways price action. We went on a nice run. We've been on a 2-year run in a lot of these names. So now it's looking like we're going to get that toppy type price action. And we have been for an extended period of time. Uber has been trading in like about a $10, $15 range since last year. So just keep that in mind as well, too. We tried to construct a new high, and that's one thing I believe you need to keep an eye out on, is when you try to construct a new high and then you have the inability to do so, then that just says, hey, there's not enough demand up here in order to continue to push it up here. So there's more supply than there is demand. And then now that's why you get these flushes, all right? So it's the same thing with like Bitcoin and a lot of these names, is that we just don't have enough demand right now. Valuations can be classified as somewhat high. Wow, okay, so yeah, sorry. Mr. Love Shack, I challenge Joe to an options battle. All right, talk to me. It's slightly vague there, but Mr. Love Shack, what would you like to challenge me in? Because I don't shy away from anything, just to let you know. And with that, talk to me. I want to know what the challenge is, and we're going to fire it up right now, because now I'm in that type of mood. I was telling Sharif earlier I'm in that type of mood, Mr. Love Shack. So I want to hear this challenge, and I'm going to take you head on. Tell me what it is, put it in the chat, and we'll get involved in that. So here we go, guys. Uber looking half decent, and some of these other tech names not the best. So that's why we get into a little sector rotation and see what we got going on. I still haven't heard anything from Mr. Love Shack, so sounding like crickets over there, in my opinion. But let's see what he got to say. Wow, the arrogance of Zelensky is out of control. Ukraine is in trouble. What happened there? It's not an option. Oh, it's not an option. Okay, interesting. Mr. Love Shack, your response, please. Yeah, exactly. We're waiting for it. Boys for the life today. Joe getting tough. Yeah, exactly. No, I'm not saying I'm getting tough. I might have been there already, but we'll see that I love it. How real, man. Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah, exactly. I love the support here and those. We're waiting for Mr. Love Shack here to write his response and what the challenge is, because we can throw it up. Oh, wow. Okay, SPY. Yeah, I got to get out of this SPY trade here. Oh, man. All right. Oh, yeah, take it over for me for a second.
All right, no worries. Yeah, let's have a look at what's happening over here. So, yeah, my bad.
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah, there we go. We're good. We're good now. BTAI still holding up above the $0.25. LTBR coming back down. Peppa Pig still, you know, definitely ranging between that 70 and that 80 penny area, which is why I moved down my order from 82s down to 80. I just don't want to get caught in a range. I'm not a range trader, you know, not by will anyway. Maybe you end up getting caught in trades that are range trades, so you end up finessing and finagling your way through them. But this isn't why I'm in the trade to begin with. So I'd like to de-risk something to the higher side over here. Let's go ahead and hang out. I'm going to take some off over here. I definitely want to de-risk a little bit on this bad boy. So we'll see exactly what we get. It's already coming back down just a skosh. LTBR, though, this one, I just want to come back to this one for a second, because this one hugged VWAP like a dang glove initially on the move down. So VWAP currently is about 1063, which is exactly where I got in last time. So if it comes back down into VWAP, I could be a buyer in and around this area for another move above this 11.25. We'll see if this one wants to manifest, though. I did put an alert at around 11.25 for a flat top break through 1140, but we ended up getting a lower high. So this could be, you know, either a downward channel or a double bottom. Does it give you an initial bounce, though, off the volume weighted average price? I'm talking about LTBR. That's the question right now. So I'm going to keep my eye out on that. Definitely interested in it because it was quite forthcoming to the high side the last time around. So we're going to go over to Neil today with a bit of a delayed Neil's lesson of the day.
Thanks, everybody. Just a little bit of a delay on it. We had, I don't know if Sean brought Jackson on. We had a viewer bring their kid here as well. So we're just showing them the ropes, checking out the office. But the first part of the lesson of the day is, watch yourself if you can mess with Joe. I mean, you don't want to play around with Joe. And it's all in good fun. I know you guys are always joking around, but there is something to be said, and I can always tie it back into trading. You got to pick your fights. You know what I mean? Like, pick your battles. Understand if you're going to get knocked down or you're going to take the L, make sure it's in the right spot and it's on your terms. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, ultimately, would I go into a boxing ring to make an ungodly sum that would change my life? Sure. But I probably want to make sure I do it against somebody that's not going to put me in a coma if I had that opportunity, because you can't, if you can't spend it, doesn't matter. So while a day like today, and we're going to end a good month off theoretically red, because we'll see what happens in the afternoon, but I'll probably theoretically red. A day like today, you've got to be able to pick your spots and know when to get out of dodge. That said, you should always be able to stick with your plan of action. Anybody that was watching the morning show, I was looking short reversions everywhere. I'm in another one right now on Rocket Lab, but when it comes down to picking your spots, I said this in NVDA, like NVIDIA, we got away with it yesterday, and I'll show you in a second. But today, we didn't get away with it. We had one half decent short, but it's just tight stop, tight stop. The best reversion was up there at that 20 level. We're in a bit of a flat bottom break off that same high, at least currently speaking, so I want to give this one a chance for us to work. But having the ability to sort of get out, wait for the next level, wait for your next opportunity is going to be a part of it, because some moving freight trains are going to be a little bit more violent than others. Now, NVIDIA did this yesterday where there were a couple of legs where you could have caught bounces, and it's like, yeah, that works out for you, and that works out for you. But on the day that it doesn't, you've got to be able to live to fight. And one thing that you'll hear me say a lot is you've got to understand each individual trade on its own risks and merits. You know, and it's not necessarily, okay, well, how much did I make on Rocket Lab versus Intel? Those are two separate things. How much am I risking in here on Intel when I'm shorting it at 30 to give it to 40? Because that might only be 15 pennies. But do I have a realistic chance that I'm going to get that lows? And where that comes in, the important part is when I'm in that same trade where I'm giving it 15, 20 cents, I'm not taking profit till I'm getting that, and then I'm holding for the lower part of the move. Like if I'm in this trade and turning it profitable by getting all out into here, but my stop is all the way up at the high, that actually doesn't make sense. Even if it were to work, it doesn't make sense because the time that it runs on me, I have no chance to win more than I would lose on that individual trade. And that goes to the point of when I'm in this short here. Like I'm playing this for a pullback bracket back into prior 23, 25. So I actually should be on the bid here in the 50s because until it goes about 15 pennies in the money, it's not at a profit-taking point for me yet. Why? Because I'm giving this short under VWAP 15 to 20 cents worth of risk. So that trade needs to be printing me here and then lower to be good. Pick your fights, and sometimes it's going to require giving it a wide stop. That's fine, but still make sure risk to reward is there. And as always, one of the most important things you can do, and I said this and today didn't do a very good job of it, if you can try to get trades that are counter trend after it's tested the level, good trade, okay trade because it had bounced, would have been better if I let it test VWAP or simply on a break. And then Rocket Labs is another example of if you can catch it after it's maybe rinsed a few people, like I didn't get back into this trade there off the high, that's a good one. When it's already shown you the top, this last short, it tried to break the top, it's now breaking down the support. That's a better example of catching it on the backside of a trade, which usually I'm pretty disciplined about it. I'm always disciplined with the outs, but being disciplined about getting it on that backside of the trade instead of always the early front side, that's not the best entry there. Don't think I had a good confirmation on it, but you've got to be able to get up and just take the next available one. And for me, unfortunately, that ended up going into shorts, which I never hope the market goes down, but that was the next available one. Didn't like any of those longs. Just a note, NVIDIA is at VWAP if you're watching that. Tesla about $1 away from VWAP as well. So those are a couple of plays. As the market gets to some of the lows, they could be VWAP bounce plays on relatively strong stocks. But pick your battles. And if the stock you have printed is going to turn into Mike Tyson all of a sudden, vintage Mike Tyson, then step out of the ring and go fight somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a thing about trading, and the line I like to give is, if someone offered you a challenge, I'll pay you $1 for every bucket that you get. And you have three choices. I said this before. You can play LeBron James one-on-one. You can play, I don't know, I'm just sorry, Sharif, but Sharif's next to me. You can play Sharif, or you could play a 5-year-old kid. Well, I don't know how good you are at basketball. I was trying to put someone in the middle that's reasonable, that could probably beat the average person, Sharif, so just say you're good. But what would you pick? Everybody would pick to play against a kid. And I'm not saying that's how the market is, but in a general sense, if you can find a trade or a stock that is a little bit more simple based on your trading strategy, that's not sitting there fighting too hard, then just move over to that one. Or stop trading the one that is knocking you out like Mike Tyson back in the day. So you've just got to be able to be somewhat nimble, but pick your battles. Not just where you get into trades, but which stocks you decide you are going to trade, and be able to get away from it if you have to. Because you're going to have losing days. And all that matters is, what did you lose relative to what that strategy could make you? And if that strategy was never given it to you that day, then you didn't want to be losing it on that strategy. That's the other thing. If it never provided you with the real opportunity, then why are you risking on it to be short? So a little bit of a bounce coming in there. Actually, thank God I just got some profit on a couple of those shorts as NVIDIA is bouncing on VWAP, and I'll send you back to the boys.
Yeah, guys, I see that the real-life soap opera is taking place as we speak right now with the Orange Man, and that guy from Ukraine. A lot of stuff's being said. Yeah. I mean, I'm reading some of the stuff you guys are writing. I'm seeing some stuff come on X. I just went back there to the island or the bridge or whatever they call it, where the managers are. They're like, you got to watch this video. I'm seeing people say that Donald Trump told Zelensky, don't talk to Vance like that or something. What's going on here, guys?
Yeah,
let
us know, man. Let us know in the chat what's going on there with that.
Yeah, let us know, guys, because we can't listen to it, obviously, because we got to do the show.
I'm curious.
It's intense. Like you can't anticipate the fact that he'd come over to the White House and things don't
and be a little lippy.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway,
know,
so that's the situation. I think they're done though, because I think the press thing is done. I don't think they're on anymore. All right, guys, I did well here on Peppa Pig. I'm doing well. We took out a whole bunch of orders, so we're doing well on this 65. It showed me 75s, but I took up all the way up into 85 there. Or sorry, not 85, excuse me, 82. I'm waiting at 86s next. I did, though, get stopped out, so I've been put out of my misery finally with this, great stock over here, BTAI. I don't mean that in a good way. I'm being facetious. I traded this one wrong. It's on me. We're definitely negatory on this one. So BTAI stopped out of that one, but doing well here on the pigged one. This one right back into 82s. Let's see the situation over here. What's my situation? No, we're going to look for a little bit of a higher move here on BTAI. We're going to hang out at 90, see if we can get something filled in and around there. Also, I think Neil was talking about NVIDIA at the volume weighted average price, so probably behooves me to have a look there. It is bouncing off VWAP right now. I can kind of see that on the side chart. 120 VWAP and yesterday's closing print are essentially very close together. 120.37 for VWAP, 120.20 for the closing print on NVDA. It's nice when those two levels kind of overlap or are close together, because you can kind of use it as an obvious level of support. So you're getting a bit of a balance to right now. It did breach 120 quick as you like, but it's pumping right back into the high side over here. NVDA in play. It's up technically 0.25%, but it's still kind of an ugly looking name on the day there. So we'll keep tabs on this one. With respect to LTBR, it's bouncing off VWAP again. It seems to have found a bit of a support level at 75. So this one is good, but it's still putting in lower high. So I don't want to be quick to jump in here and then have it reject at 11. It's only about 15 pennies from that area. GRR as well, GRR, finding a bit of a bid right now. So this one did kind of breach the 10 to 20 as well, and got back in a little bit higher than the volume weighted average price, which is at 27s. This found its support at the third of a dollar. You can kind of see it found that 40 penny area as support, and then kind of, put in one green candle here, but the current candle that we're in on the 5 is still neither a higher high, neither a lower low. So kind of a candle of indecision. Let's see how this one wants to trade, and then I could get myself into GRR. Good look on the day, but definitely coming back down a little bit here. HIMS, HIMS, do I have that up on a screen, or do I need to load that up? I think I need to load that up. We'll take off GRR here for a second. I want to show you guys HIMS, because this did break down below VWAP, but the bamboozlement came in fast and furious. Because if you were looking for a flat bottom break, like I have been, you got bamboozled, at least initially. So flat bottom, you probably took that short at 43.25. It goes all the way down to 42.5. So maybe not that bad of a look after all. Let's get involved in this one, possibly to the downside over here. We're going to look to take a bit of a short on HIMS. We got 21s. Let's hang out over here, see if we can extract some profitability on this bad boy. It has a bit of a high there at 43.87. It looks like it did reject 44s, and now it kind of at VWAP, but looking possibly to take that low again. So I'll take my shot here with HIMS. I could definitely add into that 60 penny area. Don't mind doing that, since we started off with smaller size. So that's exactly what I'll do there. I'll set up a couple of possible additions into this bad boy. So we'll set up over here, see if we can get something on a pop back up. Otherwise, we got the profit takers hanging out at 43. HIMS. We've seen this dance before. They did it yesterday. Let's see if it does it again today. Let's go to the one that we're currently involved in, though. PEPG. Still No print there at 90s, but I've de-risked the majority of the position, so we've got one more out. We're going to hang out at that 90 level, that 90 penny level for a possible print there as it comes right back down into $0.75. So pack our patience, see if we can extract some profits there. Now, back to HIMS, seeing if this one wants to give up the ghost at that $43 area, but I definitely wouldn't mind adding some to the high side there if it does pop up, hence why I've put some resting orders to get more short there. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, I was just listening on the side there that little meeting that they had going on in the Oval Office.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah,
bro.
I mean, it was kind of intense. Zelensky kind of catching some heat from both Trump and Vance there. And yeah, he's just saying you don't have the cards to tell us how we're going to feel, essentially. So it's very interesting, Sharif. I know you're going to listen to it.
Oh, goodness, yes, I am.
Yeah, it was very, very, very much interesting. Zelensky maybe just getting out of line here, but it is what it is. Yeah, it's slightly subjective, and we'll be patient and see what's coming.
Absolutely.
Coming next, because that was the couple-minute snippet that I just listened to was extremely, extremely interesting. So
you listened to it? Oh,
yeah,
lucky duck.
yeah. But here we go. Guys, let's see what we got cooking up here. Tesla's starting to break through the volume-weighted average price as well, too, guys. So keep in mind, we couldn't construct a new high. That downtrend very much still intact here. And I like that we have it on a little bit higher time frames. And we can go through multiple sessions just to see what we're looking at and just rejecting it here time and time again. So close to multiple, no, we don't want to do that. Close to just multiple touches on this downward slope. Inability to break through here, so we really got to be wary of that. If I really want to do this here, and we'll do this here, yeah, again, just a tough look in this name right now. And now the momentum is continuing to the downside. It seems to be the case. So everything that we've gained this morning is now slowly depleted away, and that's just kind of how it is when sellers are fully engaged. So, and I think that's the case, right? I was looking for some continuation in Amazon. I might get stopped out of Amazon very shortly as well too. So, yeah, for me, it's after this. If I get stopped out of these next Walmart and Amazon trades, then it's just going to be risk off for the immediate future. Guys, let's see what else everybody else is up to. Let's see what everybody in the chat is up to. Zelensky could have wore a suit coat. At least, yeah, the guy never wears one anyways, but based on what you heard, how bad is it? It's not that bad. They're having a conversation, but it's not looking very good for Zelensky. They're saying how Donald is trying to stop his country from being destroyed, and he's not really having any part of it, and he's telling the Americans how they should feel, and that's not going to probably go over well, especially when you're talking to the president and the vice president. So let's go over some of the top.
What did the Z-Man say?
He said they were talking about just the war, and then he said...
Was he getting lippy?
Yeah, he's getting a little bit lippy.
Is he for real?
Yeah, and he said you guys are going to feel it eventually, too.
He said that to their face?
Yeah, he said that to their face, and then Trump is just like, yeah, you're not going to tell us what we're feeling. He's like, you're not going to tell us what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
So unhinged.
Yeah, we're going to feel.
So unhinged.
He's like, we're going to feel very good. Actually, we're going to feel very good, and you're not going to. Yeah. He's like, you're not going to tell us how.
I don't mean to laugh because there's a lot of people, that have lost their life over this war, but
it's over. Like,
I just didn't anticipate for him to come in and like two-step like that,
right? And try to lay down the iron fist. Like, who are you? Like, America's essentially funding what you're doing.
How much money have they given this guy?
Right. So again, you should be. Hey, I'm gonna leave it at that. He just. I don't know. Yeah, we'll go over it a little bit later on other days when we get a little bit more information on it. So yeah, why more people say long? Yeah, I know. Why are people saying long today? It's not really the work. Oh, it is that time, and we will document the Playmaker poll once again here, Sharif.
I'm ready.
For the 53rd time there, guys. 53 times.
Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready here, brother.
All right. 584.05.
Oh, hold on. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, take your time. I got it. 584.05.
584.05.
Yes, sir. So,
beautiful.
Are we short or long today?
We're long, baby.
We're long.
We're long,
okay, yet
baby.
again.
1,500 votes.
586.05.
586.05.
That's a profit taker.
Perfect.
And then we get stopped out. 583.05.
583.05. Good to look there, and we are long today. Oops, no, we don't want that. We are long today, and that's
350 billion says day trader cut. Oh my.
300. Yeah, I mean, and
that's
then
a lot. And,
yeah,
and
it's quite a
Canada.
bit.
Right now, Andre.
Yeah.
Canada just threw another $5 billion at him.
Exactly.
By the way.
They were like seized Russian assets or something along those lines.
We don't have $5 billion, Neil. We need our own money over here.
Yeah, we could definitely use it over here. But yeah, here we go. Let's see what else is. That's what I wanted to do before I kind of got into the president talk, and I just want to see the top volume stocks of the session to see what's cooking up. And I bet you that NVDA is at the top of its class as usual. Oh no, this criteria is slightly different. Why do I have the OTC markets up here? That's interesting. I didn't even know I had access to that. Okay, so we're not going to do that right now. I'm going to have to run through that scanner again. But RHHBY with 18.6 million shares over there on Jeffrey Mendel, the OTC market seems to be the case, guys. Now, Apple, wow, okay. Now, Apple, Sharif,
what happened?
Continuing to be strong here compared to everyone else. So, yeah, looking really good and not selling off with the broader market. So, Apple's still kind of trading in a range, but it hasn't sold off through the volume-weighted average price and put in that bearish-type price action that the rest of the MAG have been. So, that's a really positive sign in this name. Thankfully, it's my smallest holding in my long-term account, which is a little unfortunate, but that's okay. We'll hold on to this. We're going to just stick to what's strong. And what I mentioned before in the top performing sectors is the financial sector being at the top of its class and Apple being strong today too. So I'm just going to stick with those names for the rest of the session because I'm not going to try to fight any of these shorts to the top side.
Okay. So I had a short on NVIDIA, and I'm quite proud of it. We took almost $1 there, quick as you like on NVDA. Did get short a little bit, but I'm done with this trade right now. It's trying to work its way back above 120. Now, if this moves up into 120 and then rejects again, I don't mind taking another short. It's already down 0.25%. It's below VWAP. It's below yesterday's closing print. In fact, it lost that level, came back up, tested it, and now it's making another, I believe, lower. Let me just update this over here. It's not refreshing. There we go. Yeah, it does look like it's on the way down right now, at least on the 1 minute. I'm talking about NVDA. We'll see what comes from this. Now, I'm also involved in a HIM short, and I've been waiting for a 43 break. I have a good price here of 43.30. My first beak wetter, though, is at 07s. For some reason, this keeps getting bought up at 10s, so I'm not sure exactly what's happening. Here we go. Now we're dipping down 05s. I'm waiting at 10s, so it's still not giving me the print, so I'm going to have to continue to pack my patience over here. Still going unprinted despite the fact that it's well below that area. Anyway, are you serious, bro? Why am I not getting printed? Okay. Kind of a bizarre one, but whatever. Let's let that one cook. Maybe something's afoot. Let's hang out down here as well. All right, some selling coming in there, but there's the ask is still being bought up. Let's go ahead and hang out. I'm going to hang out in the 70s. There we go. Now we finally get the print. Good look there. Let's hang out. Yeah, I'm going to hang out in the 70s right there. So we'll see for a pickup. I'm still interested in adding onto this, by the way. If it does pop up back into that 49, I believe I have my ad at the $0.50. So HIMS, we're doing well on that, about 30 pennies or so in the money on HIMS. We'll see if this one wants to continue heading back down. It is lower high after lower high after lower high. It could give up 43 here. It already did. It kind of foreshadowed this flat bottom break, but it was met with some buying. But what came subsequent to this double bottom here into 42.60 is more lower highs. So I don't know. I feel that this one is headed to the downside, whether or not it catches a bid at this 43 area where we're at right now. An entirely different story. We'll have to wait for that to manifest. Right now, there is a buyer here at 43 at the moment. Peppa Pig, still we're hanging out with this one. My mistake over here. Let me just bring this back. Yep, this one's showing me 78s again, so it's coming to the top end of this range. You knew that this range was going to be in play. It's at its tightest point, it's a 10 penny range between 70 and 80. At its widest point, it looks to be about a 15 penny or 20 penny range, 85s and then 65s. That's where I was able to pick it up at the bottom end of the range right there at 65s. We'll see if this one wants to keep heading to the high side here, but not forthcoming quite yet. I did move up my stop on that one, by the way. NVIDIA is popping right back into that 120 area, guys, so it is doing its best to get back into Greensville. Greensville is at 120 and a fifth, so we're a little bit below it right now. If this keeps rejecting 120, this could be really interesting here as an area short, but On the 1 minute, it has a higher low. That's what I'm looking at the side chart there to see what it's doing on the 1. It looks as if it is a higher low and maybe looking to take out that volume weighted average price, which is, as I mentioned, about 120.20, 120 and a fifth, give or take. What happened to the level of the time in sales? There we go. All right, good look here. All right, HIM's coming down below 43, at least on the bid, not on the ask quite yet. I'm still waiting at the lofty or the low area here of 42.75 to kind of front run any support that this one could have at 60s, because that's exactly what it did last time. It found support at that 60 penny level. It's dancing with the whole dollar right now at 43s. I'm still looking to get more short if it allows me to at that half dollar. I'm talking about that 43 half dollar. So if we get a bump up, and this one's shown its propensity to kind of range, even though it makes lower highs and now lower lows, despite the fact that it was a flat bottom before, it shows you that it makes lower highs. So if you're able to catch a better price on a pop back up, at least the trend is with you in the sense that it's still putting in those lower highs. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. Definitely interested in adding some more onto this one. This one looks like it wants to give up 43. We'll see if that ends up taking place or not. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm just looking over here at the VIX to see we're starting to get a little pop here as we continue to the downside. I've seen some people in the chat talking about the PCR as well too, the put to call ratio. Yeah, and it's starting to pick up to the put side. So with that, you get the increase in the VIX as well too. So people buying calls in the VIX, and then now as we continue to climb higher and higher, people are buying puts in the overall market, right? That's where you get that inverse correlation between the two. So more calls in the VIX equals more puts in the overall market, all right? So just keep that in mind. Apple's starting to come in as well too here, guys. So yeah, a little bit tougher of the look. It's unfortunate that we gave back the majority of the gains from this morning as we continue to climb lower, but that's all right. We might get this bounce. I was talking about Amazon holding a specific level as well too, guys. So we're looking for that trend line to hold, and if it breaks to the downside, then we just won't be participating anymore in this name. If you guys are looking at anything in the chat, just let us know. We'll go over it. I'm curious to see what you all are looking at and are trading as well too. So please just put it in there, and yeah, and we'll go over it. So SPY still dumping. Yeah, SPY is continuing to sell here. So not looking too good here in the broader market, folks. I just want, let's see what else we got going on. Let's see, throw some tickers out there and we'll go over SMCI for sure. Thank you. That's exactly what we want. We're going to go over SMCI. We don't love it, but it is what it is. SMCI. I know a lot of people aren't a big fan of this name, but it was in play for the past little while, and they did finally report as well too. So starting to come back in here. A really tough look trading from $124 now all the way down to $41. So let's just take a look from a percentage metric to see what we got going on. 69% off of those highs all the way down to where we are currently trading at. So yeah, not too pretty. There's other stronger names. XLF, I know Michael Noss was talking about this as well. See what we got going on in the financial sector. And one thing that is positive, that we are still hovering around those all-time highs in this sector ETF. Are we going to break down? Possibly. We have this shelf here that's been established, and with the market just going lower and lower, it looks like that it might be breached. But again, it's our job to identify strong sectors and then try to just find trades within them. So consumer staples as well. Let's take a look at Walmart. I know Walmart was trading pretty good this morning too. But the same signal that we usually go over here with Amazon and from an intraday perspective is that we have that isolated pivot, and then we break up through, and then now we gained it. So if you're at the break of that high of that candle, then you got about a nice 3-point move in this name. So my average is a little slightly higher, but that's okay. We'll continue to hold on to it and take it from there. Yeah. So let's see what else we got going on. We'll go over XLU because it's the third best performing sector here. So that is the utility sector, something that we don't usually talk about too often. And yeah, there's not too many things that we go on about with XLU. So again, this is tough stuff here to sit into this ETF. Other than if you're down here all the way in at the lows, then you can just go through that appreciation. But then you have just years of sideways price action, which isn't the best. So we'll keep that in mind and keep an eye on XLU, considering that it does seem that there is a significant amount of cash flow coming out of the big tech names and heading into different areas and spaces. So Yeah, and that's it for the sectors, guys. Those are the top three. We went over staples. We know that Walmart is still relatively strong. Costco as well, too. Pull up cost here for a second to see what we got going on. And yeah, still hovering off those highs. So we're at that above the $1,000 price target. Still waiting for a split. I think a lot of people were expecting it to split kind of the previous earnings report, but it did not. It decides that it doesn't want to become slightly more liquid and break down so you can get more hands involved. But it's a fantastic company, and I think it's going to continue to do well.
Convict. Music.
What made you think of that?
You know we up front. This one, Akon, halted to the higher side. Not A-K-O-N, Joseph, A-C-O-N.
A-C-O-N.
And nonetheless, shout out to Bhavin Dang Patel, my man. You're always calling out these small cap gappers. Thank you for being the other set of eyes on the show, obviously, for small caps. Can't see them all. This one is a former runner, one that we're all familiar with if you've been trading small caps for a hot minute. 2 halts to the upside. This is the second one. The previous one was a 5-minute halt. We'll see if this bad boy wants to halt 5 minutes as well. The halt time, 13:10:14. Currently, the time is 13:17. So we still have, I would say, another 2 minutes or so on this bad boy over here, halted to the upside. Let's give the details right now on it so we're ready when it reopens. $4.6 million market cap. The volume still a little bit light because it's been halted a few times. About 378,000 shares traded on a float of, my platform says 8.1 million shares. Let's compare that with what Trade Ideas has to say. Trade Ideas says something fundamentally different. I have 8.1 million. Trade Ideas says sub 1 million, says 131,000 share float. And somehow, we learned about this the other day, the short float is 187%. Now, even if that's not accurate, okay? Even if it's not accurate, this could be up to 4 weeks old. The point is, we learned the other day that the market liquidity rule allows market makers to naked short these bad boys here so they can short it without having actually located the shares to borrow to sell short. So it's got, I believe, almost double the amount of, its short flow is double the amount, basically, over here. All right, sounds good, guys. All right, so Joe will be on the market recap show with Neil today, so make sure to catch that. The 2 OGs going to be doing it at the big boy desk. But to go back into this Akon over here, we're going to wait for this one to open up. If this is accurate, tell me what you guys see in the chat. ACON, what's the short float you guys are getting there? Less than $1 million with a 40% short float is insane. Wonderkind says it's a reverse split. That's why it's not accurate in the slightest. Thank you. Let's have a look at the daily on here to see where and when it reverse split, because that does make sense to me. ACON. Let's go daily. Yeah, so we got a zillion splits over here. We got one on January 29th and another on January 30th. I believe. So yeah, that does make absolute sense. So that's likely very, very inaccurate there. And you're right, because this thing was like $47,500, right? Reverse split wise. So thank you, Wonderkind, for pointing that out. I didn't have a look at the daily, should have been more alive to that. And it's open. Here we go, zigging and zagging with 5. So whether or not it's a zillion% short, it doesn't really matter at the moment because it's breaking out. It's breaking out quite aggressively. Does it hold 5? Wowzers. It just popped into 550 like it doesn't even matter. Let's see if we can get something on this bad boy over here. Let's see if it wants to defend 5. So I'm going to punch long. We're going to try to give this one some room into that $5 area. I don't mind adding into 5, but if it loses 5, I'll stop out and get back in on this bad boy if that's the move. So here we go. It's dropping through 5. Let's see if it's able to reclaim it super quick. Let's see what we do over here. Akon right back into that halt level again. Let's see if we can pick it up off here for a pop back up. So we got 10s now as the print there. So we're going to go wait over here. Let's see if we can get a print to the high side. Okay, we do get that 15s. Okay, here we go. Now we got 5s. on as a cost basis. Let's take out some up here. There we go, into the $0.25. Good look. Now we got 01s right now as the cost basis. So I like how I added there a little bit. Got me out of some trouble, even though it zigged and zagged. Let's see if it can continue to hold up at that area. So ACON, zigging and zagging with 5. It's up nicely on the day. Anything below my entry, let's see if it can close below my entry. I was able to get out of some trouble there, but I don't want this one to go too low. Where's the halt level? The halt level is at 458. So halt levels act as support areas of support and resistance. That's where I'm going to throw an order there for a dip trade. Let's go like that. But this is already popping up back above 5. So not a bad look right now on ACON. Let's see if we can extract some more profits on this bad boy. Up into the high side it goes. 501 is still zigging and zagging. I wouldn't mind something right around here to pick up off the halt level. Let's see if it wants to hang out here. Good look. A volume weighted average price on ACON is 442, but the halt level's the level that I want to be able to get in and get out at. So that's 455. So I front run that by putting an order there at 460. Let's see if it drops down to that level. If it does it fill me does it fill me and then pop back up, or does it continue to go back down? That's what I'm looking at. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, the market really started to come in here, Sharif. We can see that some big volume stepped in on the SPY and on Apple as well, too, as we go to break through some key support systems here. So I'm looking for the continuation in this trend, but it seems that it wants to rebound right now. So a little bit tougher of a look on that front. But yeah, a heavy volume spike here on, are you killing it right now?
Yeah, top wick, baby.
All right, top wick, nice, let's go. But yeah, you can see this volume signature print on the SPY with that price action confirming that move. So a genuine move here coming in the overall market, large amounts of volume. So I'm curious to what has been said, or if anything has been on that front. But yeah, looking really weak as Tesla breaks through the volume weighted average price, and some of these big tech names starting to continue their trajectory to the downside. So yeah, not the prettiest look. Tesla in some trouble here, guys, giving up all those gains. Nice consolidation phase, but then it just broke the bottom of it and then continued to the south side. So whatever happened this morning has now been eliminated and erased with this current selling. So we're hoping that Apple can start to participate, break through this key support level as well too, and then maybe we can go and test the low of day. But again, with the broader market, I think we are on the right side of this trade for this one, guys. So yeah, I know a lot of people in the chat are asking me to take a look at Meta as well too. So we'll pull over Meta and see what we got cooking up over there in the comms. So yeah, this is interesting actually to see where we're sitting. Oh, and that was another Mag 7 that I forgot to kind of go over from a percentage metric to see how much we are down. And yeah, we're 12%, right? So that's not, I mean, it's nothing crazy, but it's not like, hey, it's not like these pullbacks over here when we put in a new all-time high, it's like 7% here. Then you have like a little bit slower of a drawdown, that's 8% over here. And then over here, when you put in that new high, let's see what we got going on over here. 16%. So yeah, I mean, a little more vicious. Some of the other names are significantly weaker than Meta, and I think it's a strong stock. But we know that we're sitting at the top of kind of the top end of the ranges here of the overall market, and then we just give it all back. So yeah. There's not much really I can say, to be honest with you. It's just, it's weak. People taking profits. We know that the price action is extremely toppy in that third year of the bull market, and now we've just been trading in a range. So it's our job to just, hey, what is the top of the range? What is the bottom of the range? And we can easily identify that on the SPY and the Qs with the higher time frames. So here we go on the daily here, guys, and you can see that we put in that top here, and now we've been trading in this range here. And I mentioned yesterday, I said, okay, if we break through this 500 level on the Qs, then there's gonna be some more downside in my opinion, right? Because the floor will give, you put in that double top here, price action wise, and then now with extreme momentum, you break through that level and then continue. So you can see the volume step up as well too. So that's that. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive down days here on the Nas here, Sharif. So yeah, it seems like the trend wants to be downwards, my friend.
All right, guys. I'm loading up Riley here because Riley's at VWAP right now. It just got into, I believe, 70s or 80s, excuse me. This is the volume weighted average price on RLY, so we're going to give this one an attempt over here. We'll see if we can extract some profits on the way up, possibly into 7. We'll see if that one wants to jive. It's at VWAP. It was good to me earlier. Let's see if it hangs out at VWAP. But this trade, what a bamboozler. Initially in 530, added at 490, added again at 492. Pop, 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 all the way up almost into the high day. I got 44 is the high day, I believe, is 550. So we got pretty close to it. But then all hell broke loose to the downside. It lost VWAP. It's at VWAP right now. I believe the volume weighted average price, 58s. We're literally at 58s and 60s right now. So this one zigging and zagging, doesn't know what it wants to be when it grows up, but it did breach VWAP. At least it's staying open because it was having a lot of trouble staying open earlier. So we'll look to get back into this one if it holds and chills at VWAP. I was able to extract some profits, but what a zigger, what a zagger, right, that is, because kind of hard to trade these. And by the way, too, I throw out orders and it would be at the level, it would be above the level. I'd actually cross down and I wouldn't get filled. That's how quick the price action was. So right back above VWAP we go. And here we go. So this one is all sorts of wild right now. Dips down into 4. Now it's zooming right back into 5. It's lower highs and lower lows still if you're looking at a chart pattern. So a lot of volatility, to put it lightly, here on ACON. We'll see if it can break and take above 5, but this one does look like it might have a good bid under it at the moment, especially if you can get above that 5.5. Well, it's having trouble with 5 right now, though. So there was a seller of note at 5. I'm still involved in HIMS, still waiting for possibly a move right back down. We're short 39s. It's back up into 27s. I still like the chart pattern of lower highs. I'm still interested in DCAing into this at around the $0.50 because that's the other area crest, I should say. We'll see if this one wants to flat bottom break. I'm talking about HIMS. Took a couple of beak wetters on this one. We're short at 39s, but it's now back at the $0.25, so we could be out of the money here very, very soon. But that was kind of planned. Let's see what else. Riley. Riley. We're involved in this one at 87s, looking for a VWAP hold here. And I'm going to be very strict with this one, okay? So it's not going to be a situation where I'm DCAing below VWAP to get out of trouble. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw out the order right now. If I get stopped out, I get stopped out, but I'm not going to have to fight with this one. So that's the situation. There we go. We'll throw out that stop so it makes a decision for me. Keeping an eye still on ACON. This is the 1 minute, on ACON. Now, what I mean to say when I said lower highs and lower lows earlier, kind of hard to see on the 1 over here, on the 5. But this is what I'm talking about. So this is an area crest, and then another area crest, and then another area crest. And then if you're looking at the troughs, there's your area trough right there, which is a halt level. Another lower low right there into 4. So it does look like it's losing the bid, even though it popped up back into 5 off that 4 pop. But it's just way too bamboozling right now for me to feel comfortable getting back in thinking it'll take out 5. We'll see. I'm going to have to throw this on the side chart because it doesn't have a home quite yet. We're going to take off that dreaded BTAI stock that put me negatory on the day because we kept DCAing into it like an idiot. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to throw ACON on there. There we go. Now we got ACON. So we're going to keep an eye out on this one. If it takes out 5, Joe, I'm going to jump into this one. Back to HIMS. Still watching this one put in lower highs. I should be adding more here on the pops, man. This should be a situation where I don't have static areas where I want to get more short because it's putting in lower highs. So I should be basing my not entries, but additions to the position based upon that lower high kind of trend line. Here's what I'm kind of looking at the side chart. So if you guys can see that, let me just make the line a bit thicker. There we go, line width. There you go. Now you can kind of see that. It didn't save, whatever. It's fine. Yeah, you guys should be able to see that. It should be good there. So that's what I'm looking at right now, Joseph, in about 3 positions, in exactly 3 positions here.
Nice. Let's go.
Peppa Pig is doing nothing, guys. PEPG still, in the money on this one, but it's very consolidative as it was doing earlier. It's doing it again. It has these outsized moments where it pops up and then breaks back down, but for the most part, it is a bit of a consolidative trade. Rohit, my biggest losses come when I do DCAs and day trading and mixing it with swing trades. Well said, my man. I try not to DCA when they're not planned, but like I always mention when they are planned, and you'll see the orders there ahead of time, resting on the screen in baby blue or aqua or whatever, however you guys see it. when I don't have them on there and I'm trying to get myself out of trouble is where I get in trouble as well. So you try to get yourself out of trouble, and what you're really doing is digging yourself a deeper hole, so it seems. So that's the situation.
Yeah, I agree with that one there. So I like how you use it. You still, it's like, okay, he has a risk unit, but just divides it up into multiple averages, which allows him to still lose the same amount, regardless if he were to average it into it 2 or 3 times. But yeah, guys, the market's starting to get in a little bit of a bounce here. This Apple short is not working out, so I'm just going to get out of the trade. Because it is what it is, and maybe we have the opportunity to get back in here if it slowly starts to curl around. But right now, with the market rebounding, a massive volume signature coming in, and then we're getting that bounce on. So I don't want to hold on to this much longer. And then AA. Oh, that's why it's not a real ticker. AAPL. Yeah, guys, but I'm also looking at the options chain as well too to see what's going on. And one thing that I noticed, and I'm curious to what you guys think in the chat. So this is the thesis, and this is what my research has led me. So we have about 126,000 current open contracts at that $140 strike price on the call side, which I believe the majority of them are short, right? But then we also at 140 on the put side had 87 to 97,000 contracts, but that has now dwindled to about 5,000 open contracts. So in my opinion, that just tells me that all those short put contracts, so you're essentially long, have now been stopped out because NVDA continued to the downside, and people are just waiting for that 140 strike, that 126,000, to expire worthless for all those short traders near the end of the day, because there's no point in closing it, because the chance of NVDA closing above 140 or even at 140 on today's session is extremely low. And we can use a percentage metric to actually see what the delta is here on that 140, and it's not even giving you anything. It's saying it's essentially there is no risk there. There's a 0% chance that it's going to close at 140 today. So yeah, that's the look there. Let me know what you guys think about that and what analysis from experience or whatever it may be. But that's what I'm kind of interpreting right now is that, hey, all those short puts got stopped out because you're essentially long, but the short calls are still in position because they have the ability to be, they are going to expire worthless, by the end of the day. So you can just hold on to that and have the ability to collect that full premium is what I was getting at. So yeah, well, that's very interesting. I've never seen open interest dwindle like that on the put side, especially when they were both so balanced. We went over it on Monday, and I'm like, hey, we got 97,000 and 87,000 on either side of the chain, but then the call side continued to grow, but the put side stays stagnant. And then now it's kind of, there is no relative open interest on the put side, and that open interest on the call side is still there. So very interesting stuff, and I'm glad that I'm continuing to pay attention to it. But I'm going to hop right back out of Apple. It seems that it wants to squeeze. This name is stronger than the rest of the market, so you get those stronger bounces compared to what's going on. But here we go. The Q's bouncing back as well, too. Looking for some of these bigger names to continue in that path. Meta really bouncing back to really, really strong, punching through the volume-weighted average price. Apple as well, Tesla right at the VWAP too. So I'm going to look to participate on that front. Maybe we can get into some shares here on TSLA because that's what we like to trade. And it had a really strong opening drive here. So you can see that the 5-minute orb didn't come into play until we broke it to the top side. Retest the VWAP and then put in a new high, traded up as high as 292 on the session, still positive 1.45% and change. That's the gain on Tesla today, and that's what yeah, exactly. It's nothing crazy. It's unfortunate that we're down 40% or so off those all-time highs on Tesla, but here we go. There's a lot going on about what that meeting here. That options wise on YouTube. Okay, so but I didn't ask the why. I was asking what you were thinking. And that's it. 70,000 Bitcoin, not 105. Okay, so nothing crazy yet on the thoughts of why the ratio on the call side or on the put side, just dwindled so much, and all those contracts have been closed now. So there's no open interest. It is now diverted to volume. So keep that in mind. Yeah, Tesla not looking too pretty, starting to pull back in right now. We took 2 stabs on Apple, didn't work out. That's okay. We'll just pack our patience and wait. XLF remains the top, the strongest sector of the session, and I think it will remain so for the rest of the day. It's coming in around 1:30, 2 o'clock, and it's Friday, right? The sellers may be somewhat exhausted, even though they still seem engaged. But again, you get that sideways price action, that choppy price action in the overall market on Fridays, especially when we've had such a week, right? We haven't put in a single green day all week, making it a little more tough here for long bias traders like myself, but that's okay. We'll sit on it. Eventually we'll get that bounce, and then we're gonna look to take advantage of it because that is our job. And I'm sure it's gonna come eventually or sometime soon, right? I mentioned all the Meg 7 down 10, 15% plus, double-digit losses there from those all-time highs, and the market still hasn't yet caught up. So it is lagging in that front. So yeah, I'm going to be patient. Not going to try to look for those extended moves. You got to downsize the risk. You got to mitigate risk a little bit better here, and just hold on to these trades for longer because that volatility in the market is there, Sharif.
All right, there we go. Wow, that was a wild ride with this stock.
Yeah.
That was a wild ride. That was intense. With ACON over here, convict music, baby. And you know we up front. So here's the deal. We've gotten a whole bunch of outs on this bad boy. So I kept adding on the dips, taking it out on the top, adding on the dips, taking it on the top. So it's definitely an intense one, no question about it. So I'll talk about that in a second, but I've got another trade on right now. HIMS that I have to concern myself with, as well as Riley. So here's the deal. We're doing real well on Riley. We got back in 87s. Now it's testing 7, so it behooves me to wet the beak here. So we'll take another another beak wetter there. Let's keep an eye out on RILY. Still have a couple of more beak wetters on this. This was a VWAP dip, and that was really the only reason I did get into that. It's showing me 4s. I'm waiting at 5s next. Let's see if we can get the print. It's now at 5s with a bit of a wider spread here. But I'm also involved in HIMS. So I added to my short position on this one. So I'm looking to stop out here above 44. That's the area crest. But I'm looking for this one to kind of pop back down and to continue on with the lower high situation. I'm looking to wet the beak in the low 40s. It's now showing me 50s. So we're about 1 penny in the money. I'm looking for this one to kind of curl back down, showing me 47s right now. This is a bit of a bamboozler. So let's throw out orders here on HIMS a little bit below the level. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw out some over here and then some at the $0.25 as well in order to de-risk. So I will stop out if this one takes up the $44 level. We were dancing with this one a little bit south there, but it does seem to be catching a bit of a bid now. It did defend 43. Well, if it takes out 44s, that's going to be the end of the trade for me on HIMS. We'll give back a little bit on this one because we were profitable on it if we get stopped out. Let's have a look at Riley. Did we get the print at 05s? Still unprinted on Riley at 05s. Anything below 80s, though, that's the end of the trade there. We're long at 87s. If it doesn't hold 7, then I want no smoke. But it does look like HIMS is the trend is changing here. So I may be in some trouble here with HIMS as it's heading to the high side and going into that $44 area. So it looks like the short's getting squeezed here, and that includes me. Yeah, we can't catch them all, but we were profitable on it, and we're going to give some back. So HIMS, if I get stopped out above 44, that's going to be the end of the trade. Let me just make sure that my stop is sound on this one. Oh, we don't even have that. Well, yeah, we do, actually. So keep tabs. Unview, did you guys already do the push-up challenge? No, we didn't do the push-up challenge, and that's not what I'm interested in talking about right now. I'm interested in talking about these trades. So if you want to focus on the trades, have at it. I'm involved in 3, so I'm not really interested in talking about anything else. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Looking at HIMS, if it takes out 44, I'm getting stopped out. I'm also looking at Riley over here for that move into 5s. That'll be a nice little move there if we can get it. Also, I was, and yeah, there we go. Now we got the Riley one, good. We're going to move up a little bit more. 12s now, I'm going to wait there to see if we can take out the high of the day. I just fat fingered into that. I added instead of taking it out. It's just a day today. Holy cow, bro. Oh my goodness. Making mistakes and stressed out with these trades. So yeah, back to ACON over here. It's having trouble with 5. It's a bit of a compression pattern with lower highs and lower lows. Higher lows and lower highs. But if it takes anything above 550, I don't mind getting in there. Otherwise, I want no smoke, and I just got stopped out of HIMS. So that's really frustrating there on that one. I thought I had the right trade. I did not. What do you got?
Yeah, we got an e-signal ad read, my guy. New traders, listen up. First month, free. That's right. We're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to elite. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's everything infinite. Data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with backtesting, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description. There it is, e-signal, guys. You know how it goes. You know the D-Lo, right? Sharif uses it constantly throughout the day, and the big boys over there to the right of us use it consistently, showing you their charts and everything and how reliable that system is. So that is e-signal. I'm in some TSLA as well too, guys. Looking for that continuation to the top side. We might not get it. I added to the position as we broke here, but I'm looking for 13. I'm going to get all out at 13 because that's right into this support zone that can act as possible resistance, and it's going to take some time in order for us to get there. Market is extremely weak, but again, the SPY has recovered the majority of what it just lost. So good luck there. These names can get a bounce, and that's what we're going to continue to hold on for. We only got about 23 minutes left in the session, and I'm going to hold this. I'm not going to partial. I'm going to see how high Tesla can grind harder, 3.29, 3.3% here in TSLL. So that put that at half of what the actual underlying asset is sitting at right now, and we'll figure that out for you to be exact. 1.7% there it is up on the session, and Apple continuing to be strong as well too, guys. So maybe we can fight this trend to the downside and look to participate here. We took a couple stabs at it and then we just squeezed here. So, and we punched through these highs too as well, Sharif. So that's something that we want to monitor. It was relatively strong. The market was selling and Apple was holding up very, very well. Now let's go over a couple other things to see what we got cooking up. I want to see what everybody in the chat is looking at. You can just post it and tag myself or Sharif in there, and we'll be more than happy to pull it up. But as of right now, the focus is TSLL and continuing to gain higher. So that's what I'm going to hold on to. Hopefully we can start punching higher and that volume steps in here. But as of right now, it's not looking too good. So I think we just got to pack our patience on that. There's a key resistance zone right at 13, and we're trading just below that. So in order for us to break through it, we're going to need to punch through with some volume. And I don't know if it's going to step in right at this time, but we'll be patient and wait for it. If we break the volume weighted average price, then I'll look for this support level to hold as well too, because you can see that we have this consistent consolidation phase, and then we broke down, but then we came right back into that zone. So hopefully that holds, and we're going to hold on for that. Nope, whatever that means. But here we go. Yeah, guys, let's see what you're looking at. I'm looking at it in the chat. Some people asked me to look at PLTR. We'll pull it up and see what we got going on with Palantir.
Are you talking to me? Or?
No. Palantir, yeah, this thing has been a really tough look, guys. Down 36% off of that 125 high. But Sharif and I were talking about this before, right? This move right here, the chances of that were just was a massive short squeeze, gamma squeeze, and then now the stock's coming back into reality. Talking about a couple 100% on the year, or previous year, sorry. So year over year, even this name went on a monster run. So January of last year to where we're currently sitting at 331% return. So fantastic name. I remember I wanted to get involved in this at 17, 20 bucks, but I'm like, I don't know about it. But Alex Karp and company has proved us wrong, and something that you should have been involved in from a long time ago, because I know it's a very popular stock here in the day trading world, and I think it will remain to do so. But again, I mentioned that stocks can only stay in play for so long, and that's the case with Palantir. That's the case with a lot of these names. We know that NVDA really drove this AI craze, sorry, and now it's cooling off, right? Like these names are going to cool off. So we got to find what's strong. We got to find what's that emerging market, what's coming up next, what is that next thing. That's a part of our due diligence and things that we need to look forward to and kind of just hone in on to find like, hey, okay, we had the quantum computing running for a little bit. Unfortunately, that was short-lived, only lasted a couple months. The AI trend lasted a couple years. And before that, we had the COVID vaccines and et cetera. So what is next? And we have to find that. So I'm curious to what you guys think in the chat. What do you think that next booming sector is going to be? Put it in the chat and we'll find out.
You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Zelensky's getting trolled, bro. Some of the reporters were asking why he wasn't wearing a suit.
Yeah.
It's like, you're at the highest office or in the land. How come you don't wear? Do you own a suit?
Yeah.
He's like, I don't wear costume. Maybe after the war. It's like, listen what Donald wrote. Yeah. on obviously Truth Social, as he typically does. We had a very meaningful meeting in the White House today. Much was learned that could never be understood without conversation under such fire and pressure. It's amazing what comes through emotion, and I have determined that President Zelensky is not ready for peace if America is involved because he feels our involvement gives him a big advantage in negotiations. I don't want advantage. I want peace in capital letters. He disrespected the United States of America in its cherished over office. He can come back when he's ready for peace. Whoo! Dang. Donald?
Yeah. Mic drop.
My man didn't mince any words. Yeah, mic drop.
Mic drop. Boom. See you later. Yeah, just get it done, man.
Oh, wow.
It's about time that thing ended, so just get it done. That's it. Yeah. We'll talk about it more a little bit later, but yeah, we got some. You guys make sure you guys voted too. Robotics and quantum. I like that. I asked about the next emerging markets, so that's it. Robotics may be it. Rich Tech Robotics and some other names. Optimus. What is that going to do for Tesla? Hopefully it can drag it higher. We need a strong catalyst in this name being down 40% or so from the top. It's not a good look, so we need a catalyst under some of these names, and yeah, that's it, guys. Market really, really tough. I don't like how we're down so much percent, but do you think that the overall market is lagging a bit here, Sharif? Because you have the big names down about 13, 14, 15%, even double digits, but yet the SPY and the Qs are only down about 5 or 6%. So is that a lag, and can they pick up steam and eventually reach that?
Great question, Joseph. Yeah, man, you feel like definitely it has been, I don't know. There's been general market participation, though, in the sell-off.
There has.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like usually sometimes it's just mid-caps or the mega-caps that are making the market move in general. Yeah, no, look, man, it's really interesting these past few days. I just want to digress for a second, Joseph.
Yeah.
I'm in Riley, guys, and I wet the beak there at 12s. I'm now waiting at 21s. I did add into this position. That's why my cost basis is skewed. So I had 87s initially, then I added at 7s, wet the beak there. That was a fat finger. Let me just call a spade a spade. I didn't mean to add into here, but that's the situation right now. So I'm involved in that. I got conned into this him short, which is now coming back down. This looks like a 44.25 rejection. So this could be an interesting short here. I'm not going to try to take this short again and just guess where this is going to be a long or a short. I tried to have it off a support level. It didn't have the continuity of the trade. Peppa Pig as well. We're kind of flat on this one. Whoa, we're not flat. We're well on it, but we're in terms of entry, we're long 65s. It's coming back down into 70. As I mentioned, this one has a tight range of 80 to 70, and then the wider range, it's 85 and 65. You can kind of see that at the extremes there. So good look right now on some of these names, but definitely gave back a lot more than I wanted to. I made a lot of mistakes today, and I'm lucky just to kind of be where I am at the moment. I didn't trade, and I didn't execute in the way that I typically like to. I'm talking specifically about my trade with that BTAI or whatever, and then my HIMS trade. Those are the ones that got me in trouble. Otherwise, I think I've done all right on the day, but those ones were a bit bamboozling. So that's the situation. Now, this one's coming back down into my entry, so I'm not going to even bother with that. I want to get into ACON. It's doing a bull flag, and it's a compression pattern, and it's above the 10 exponential. I'm going long here on this one, so we're going to see what comes from this. I'm going to wait at, 10s or something like that for a possible beak wetter. I don't mind adding to this into that $0.50, so I'm going to go ahead and put that there right now so we can get some at that $0.50 if it will allow me there. But anything below the $0.50, I will not dance with this one. I perceive this one to be a compression pattern, a bull pennant with a big move up, lower highs, higher lows. If you believe the textbooks of technical analysis, the direction, it typically resolves in the direction of the trend. That doesn't mean it can't stop you out first by bamboozling you to the downside and then wicking right back up. Just kind of what I saw with a couple of these names today. So we're involved in ACON again as it does a sideways move. It's up 83% on the day. The Russell is flat. I'm looking at the Russell just to see if small caps have a bit of a tailwind or what the situation is. It's up 0.07, but we'll see if this one can get any continuity under it, ACON. Now, having said all this compression pattern, higher lows, lower highs business, we also have to take account of the whole dollar level, that $5 level. Now, I've been watching this for a minute. You can see it's had trouble breaking and staying above 5. So if that is the case and you're trading to this alongside and you have a beak wetter above that $5 level, well, it doesn't hang out above $5 for all that long. So what I suggest to you is you throw some resting profit takers right there. So if it does pop up into the area and then it comes back down quickly, at least you'll be, number one, first in priority to get the fill. And number two, if you don't see the price action there, you can't take the fill. And oftentimes as well, it's just too quick for me to get filled there. So ACON, a hell of a good looking compression pattern right now, but that bottom can come off at any time. Very well aware of that. Come what may. What do we got on your side, Jose?
Yeah, still holding on to this Tesla trader. We're going to start to piece them out here because we are climbing higher and higher. So with that added started, it worked out really well for us. Oh no, I didn't want to do that. Okay, we'll pop right out of this here. Okay, so I wanna piece out of Tesla. So I just meant to do this, TSLL. And then now we're gonna start just taking some off here slowly because we are starting to run into those resistance zones that I was referring to at that $13 price target. So around 1290, 1295 we hit on TSLL, and then now coming back rejecting that shelf that was established earlier in the session, which was really important, I think, and key because we couldn't construct a new high, so we broke through those lows and then pushed through VWAP. But again, forming lower highs or higher lows as well, too, guys, on the bottom side of this trend, on the back side of it. So if you have time, can we go through Mad World? If you have time, can we get thoughts on MSTR? Absolutely, please. You said please and thank you, and then that way you shall receive. So MSTR. Again, we know Sharif went over some detailed stuff on Wednesday about Michael Saylor and MSTR. Just it was kind of in depth, but one key point that I said is that if it went to, that I noticed is that even if it went to $1, Michael Saylor and company would not be liquidated. He would just buy it all, which I found kind of comical. But I mean, would you really want it to go down to that? So it's hard for him to get liquidated on that front. But here we go. Off of those off of those highs there, 57%, not a good look as well. I think it just tracks Bitcoin too, right? So if Bitcoin's strong on the day, then the chances of MSTR. But one thing I really want us to take note of is that in this, I'm not going to call it a bear market, but when we have negative sentiment, right, we got to look at the basis and what has been previously established. And you can see this type of price action where you have this shelf type resistance and support zones being built and constructed. And then once you break them, you're going to be like, hey, is there going to be more downside? And MSTR, you can see. Oh, all right. Anyways, but you can see that we can break through them, and then you're going to get that continuation to the downside. And we can use multiple examples here, and we're going to use one in Bitcoin because MSTR and Bitcoin are very highly correlated. So here we go. We marked this out. I didn't even just do that, but once that base was broken, once that support level gave out, then there's more downside. I'm not saying it's going to go all the way down to zero or the previous consolidation zone, but you're expecting to see more downside because you couldn't construct new highs, and then now you've touched that base multiple times. Eventually, it's going to break through. One party is going to win that battle, and then when you come into a base like that, it's usually that party, all right? Whether it be flat bottom break or flat top break, you're going to test the level so many times before it breaks. Now, let's see what the Qs are up to as well because it's identical type price action. So here we go. It's not as clean, but you can see that we have these bases formed as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 touches in that base. And then look, we crack with momentum on yesterday's session and then continue to the south side. Now, what is the next base, you may ask? And that's going to be around that 500, which I mentioned earlier as well, too. Are we going to punch through that? Maybe, possibly. And then you got to ask yourself, hey, what is the next target? And that's going to put us all the way down here around that 494, 480 levels. So we're going to hold off. If the buyers don't really step in, this can just be a breath day. So you have that really strong selling pressure, you breathe, and then you can put in that 3-4 bar play and then take an additional leg down. I mentioned, hey, the SPY, the Qs, again, they're all down double digits, but then here on the Qs, we're only down about 8.2%. So, yeah, I do think that there's going to be some more downside in the short term. Are we going to recover? Eventually, but maybe not right now. There is some headwinds with tariffs and et cetera going on. The earnings were pretty good on the likes of NVDA. Growth is slightly slowing in some of these big names, especially the cloud growth in the Mag 7, like Google, Amazon, etc. The cloud growth, Azure is slowly. I'm not going to tapering off. We'll call it. It's just not as fast and accelerative as it was before. So let's see if these bases hold here, Sharif, in the overall market.
Yes, sir. Have you ever watched the Kelly Pavlik Jermaine Taylor middleweight fight?
No.
Oh, okay. Add that to your watch list.
Was it battle?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. So Jermaine Taylor was the guy that took the undisputed from Bernard Hopkins. Okay. He took that after Bernard was dominating everybody. He beat up on Trinidad. I don't know if you remember that.
Who, Trinidad James?
No, Felix Trinidad.
No, I'm joking.
Okay, I was like, who?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? So then this was his biggest test, Bernard Hopkins. He beat Bernard Hopkins, I think, in a couple of fights. And then he was defending the championship for the first time. And this is Kelly Pavlik. And he beat the crap out of Pavlik, knocked him down several times, beat him up. Yeah. And then Pavlik comes back and knocks back.
No way.
You've got to watch his fight. It's one of the most ridiculous fights.
He's taking a beating.
Oh, he took an ass whooping there, bro. And then he came back like an absolute champion and knocked out Jermaine Taylor. Like Jermaine Taylor was out. Yeah.
And he won. That's
great
crazy.
Fight.
So that's a sick fight.
You got to put that fight.
Yeah, I'll watch
Taylor.
it. I'll watch it. Yeah.
Ridiculous fight.
I love those wars, man. I love those good battles.
All right, guys.
A lot of people are saying very good fight.
Yeah?
Some Ed Miller says very good fight.
Yeah. It's one of the better fights I remember watching anyway growing up, especially because Jermaine Taylor was like looked at as the one. Oh, you took the crown from the king, B-Hop. Obviously, back in the day, B-Hop was an OG.
Was that guy?
Dude, one of the best middleweight fights I've ever watched was Felix Trinidad versus Bernard Hopkins. Yeah. The clinic that Hopkins put in. They delayed that fight for 9/11, right? So it was actually scheduled to happen September-ish 2001. They had to kick the can down the road, I think, November or December because of obviously what happened. And obviously that was Trinidad. He wasn't a lineal or a legitimate 160 guy. He had been fighting at 154, super welterweight for a hot minute. And Hopkins had been fighting at 160 for a hot minute. But he had beaten this other guy. I'm talking about Felix Trinidad. He had beaten a legitimate title holder by the name of William Joppi. In the 160 division, and he carried his power because Trinidad was known for his power, right? He beat the crap out of Joppi.
Oh, yeah?
So then coming in, they're like, okay, he's got hands at 160. This could be a legitimate fight with Bernard Hopkins. And the clinic that Bernard Hopkins put, I gave Trinidad one round, sixth round in that fight. Yeah, you will love these. Actually, and they're good quality on YouTube.
I'll check them out. Yeah, send me those links. I'll definitely.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
The reason I just came up because I just came up on my feed there. Kelly Pavlik versus Jermaine Taylor was a nutty fight. All right, guys, we've got 5 minutes left on the trading day today. I just got stopped out of my Acon position, so we're all done with that one. This one is losing the volume weighted average price, and it is not a compression pattern in the way that I perceived it to be. I saw this one looking to make higher lows and higher highs for a continuation of the bull flag. It doesn't give it to me. It stops me out. So we're doing, we're down on the day on this one. So too bad for me. Now the last little trade that I've got here in the hopper is this PEPG. We still have the lows of 65. I've been waiting at 90s. It doesn't look like it's going to break out the range. The range on PEPG today has been super tight, and it broke through it and below it a couple of times. Otherwise, it was just basically very, very, very consolidative. So that's the look right now. I've got nothing else. The big boys are coming back on the show in about 5 minutes or so. I want to leave you with this one that's still running, RILY. It's had trouble taking out 20s on the day. That's where I was hanging out for the next beak wetter on this one, but it dropped back down into my entry, so I didn't want any smoke, so I flattened out. But this one is putting in higher lows, and it was a great entry initially here at the volume weighted average price on Riley. It's up a respectable amount on the day, 15.82 and change there. All right, let's see what everybody else is talking about. Ref Ronnie, ask me boxing questions. Ref Ronnie, I like that. Are you a ref? Are you like a boxing referee? We got Tough Aldrin, Tito Trinidad. Yes, absolutely. He's from Cubi Alto, Puerto Rico. I hope I didn't butcher Cupi Alto. I think it's Cupi Alto, Puerto Rico. Shout out to him. Random says Zenod 106. Yeah, I just told you. I saw it coming in on my feed. So, Daniel B., I mean, I get what you're saying. You don't want us to talk politics, this, that, and the other. Brother, you're not forced to join with us in the political talk. So, the Katina Man's coming on. Don't worry, he's coming on, baby. You don't have to join with us in the political talk, my man. But, we're going to voice our opinion. And the people in the chat, if they have an opinion, they're going to voice it as well. That's kind of how it works around here. But, you know, I'm sorry that it upset you. And we didn't really say anything that bad. We just mentioned what was said, right? And take an opinion one way or another. So that's a look there. Dinkelberg, who would win a boxing match between me and Arun? I give it to Arun. How about that, okay? USA Boxing, says Ref Ronnie. Okay, that sounds good, my man. So we know who to go to now when we have boxing questions, Joe.
Is he a ref?
Ref Ronnie. That's what he said.
He was a ref.
Yeah, US Boxing.
Oh, right on.
Shout out to him.
That's sick.
Hertz Glambler, thank you very much. Oh, we got $10 from the man. Swoldemort. Gotta love the name, man. When Trader TV boxing match, and what's on the line with Sharif and Joe? No, I'm giving this one to Joe. Joe can box. I just, you know, box with my friends from time to time. So I'm not gonna fall into your little traps there of trying to get into more competitions. I've got way more things in my mind to worry about, having to train for this and that in crypto. So you guys are not gonna dupe me into that. You're not gonna dupe him either. Nice try. Try again. Maybe a little bit on Monday, baby.
Try again later.
There you go.
Try again later. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we're at a TSLA. We only took some off here, and then we got stopped out just above the break even as the market starts to pull in here, guys. So yeah, a little bit tougher look. Another bearish day in the broader market. So that would put another, I mean, the day's not over just yet, but it looks like this candle's going to close red here, Sharif. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row for the downside for the spider. Right off of those all-time highs. I mean, last Thursday we tapped into them, and then we just haven't looked back since, right? So right at the top of the range, selling, and then now continuation to that south side. Havana Woody brought up some interesting points as well. He said he's seen the largest amount of puts on the SPY in the past year at that, I think it was around 485 strike price, somewhere around that. And yeah, those are coming into fruition. So it's not looking too good here, guys. I mean, I talk about it all the time. Eventually, we will turn around, but the real question is the when. We got to look at these bases that have been formed from previous support and resistance zones, hold on to those, and if we breach that, I think that there's going to be some more downside. I talk about how the broader market is somewhat lagging those big 7 names, considering they're all down double digits. And if we break that, we're going to get into 10%, 15% or so downside on the SPY. It's not going to happen overnight. I think this was slightly accelerated too, guys. So that was some really quick selling here. You usually don't get it unless there's some big catalyst events, and but we know that there's been the likes of tariffs. 25% everywhere. Everybody gets 25%. China gets another 10%, and so on. So yeah. So it's just tariffs all around, like that Oprah scene. You get a car, everybody gets a car. You remember that? So yeah, everybody can catch a tariff here. So yeah, the market doesn't like it, and we just got to take it for what it is. Hopefully we get this bounce. I would love to have a bounce in Amazon and in Walmart to continue as well. But Apple seems to be the only strong Mag 7 name hovering about those lines. We talked about $100 billion in free cash flow. So when you have that type of numbers, it's essentially infinite cash. But we only got 1 minute left here.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So it's been a very red week on these markets. Obviously, kind of goes without saying. That's kind of the nature of the beast. It's been tough. I mean, there's a lot of unpredictability and a lot of unknowns right now with the tariffs coming in to focus, especially on Mexico, especially on Canada. Those kick in on Tuesday. I'll submit to you that the market's been selling off quite aggressively as a result of that because, you know, I guess the street maybe had been anticipating that there would be a deal struck between that February 1st initial deadline and then that March 3rd or 4th extension. Nothing has been struck, and it doesn't look like anything will be struck. So it's a bit of a tougher look on these markets. Obviously, we're still above, key resistance or support levels, that 20,000 area on the NQ, 43,000 on the Dow, and 21,000 on the Russ. But who knows? We could get more selling next week when the actual tariffs kick in. Hey, strap on for the ride. It's going to be a crazy 4 years because I feel like, there's going to be constant, updates. Let's call them updates in these markets. In any event, we need volatility as day traders, Joseph. Just, we got to get accustomed to the volatility. And then I think, things will be, because we had 4 years of relative calm.
So just size down, wider stops, get accustomed to it. And
all right, guys, it is now 2 o'clock. And it's time to send you to the Big Kahunas, Neil and Sean, Joseph on the Market Recap Show. with Neil. Make sure to catch that. I'll see everybody in a couple of minutes at the green screen.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna have
right.
Joey option.
Neil, get out of the White House.
The best part, it was, there was a moment, like, I don't know, like 10 minutes ago, where the boys were like, we try not to talk politics. Sean turns and goes, wait till I'm back on.
Yeah.
And then the thumbnail for the show, for this afternoon show, predictably, is going to be
that was a great
what just
thumbnail.
happened.
Here's the thumbnail right here.
Oh, you've got it, yeah.
Oh, because I just logged it in. There it is right there. Yeah, Trump.
Go to
and,
Sean's screen.
Zelensky.
Go to Sean's screen.
It'll go there in a second. There it goes on. There it is right there. So